Welcome to the Hector Jesus Show. I am your brother in fashion, fitness, finance, and family, El Señor Romero Miliano, Pablo Hector Jesus. First things first, you guys know that I gotta shout out the gang. That's all my greatly ambitious, intellectually noteworthy gentleman that's aggressively neutralizing the game. 365 days of the year. You guys, where am I at? Like the fucking video. Stop playing with us. We're going to do a round of applause for the show. All right? Because the Hector Jesus Show is specifically molding men into men, right? Fashion, fitness, finance, and family, turning men into gentlemen, right? I got someone who's been on the show before. But this time, we're going to make history with this one, right? I got my man, Cleveland Farrell. Introduce yourself, baby.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Checking in, Big Clee. You know what it is. Straight out of Las Vegas. Recently moved to San Francisco, California, so we're doing very, very well. You know what I mean? We out here on the West Coast. They say it's the best coast, but we're going to find out today. We're going to let y'all know, get a little taste of it.
I know that's right. Let me go ahead and do you a favor.
Yeah. I like applause. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, there's a lot of love on the Hector Jesus Show. There's a lot of love on the Hector Jesus Show because that's all we got. We got to show each other love. We got to make sure that we not only showing each other love, holding each other accountable, and giving everybody their flowers before it's too late, right? You know, when you're successful, you're a young man, you're on the path to becoming the best version of yourself because it's always changing. You know, you get to a point where you're like, damn, man, I'm great. Let me reevaluate myself and see how much more greater I can be, right? Again, I tell you guys, revisit the foundation, man. Always go back to the foundation to figure out how much better you can be than you were last year, 2 years ago, 5, 10, 15 years ago, right? I got somebody else too. I actually just met this young man yesterday, last night, courtesy of my man Cleveland. I got Isaiah Johnson. Isaiah, man, introduce yourself, man.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Isaiah, but you can call me Zay. Big Play Zay for y'all that know me. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of Texas, Bryan, Texas, Houston, Texas. We out here in Vegas, turning up, keeping it pushing and popping, and keeping it pleb.
I know that's right. Yeah.
Representing the South.
Yo, that's some Texas shit too. He said the whole Texas shit. Big player.
He got that twang in his voice.
Yeah, everything big in Texas. That true? Where that come from, bro?
Every time. I mean, you know, we the Lone Star State. Ain't nothing like us. You come out there, we're going to show you a good time with the hospitality.
Yeah.
But our women, our food, the way we dress, everything we do is just bigger and better. So
Big T's.
Yeah.
even the houses, the real estate, every way and every possible thing you think of.
Yeah.
Texas usually has a greater substance in it. So,
And for those who don't know, Izzy is actually involved in real estate. So that's dope that you bring up real estate. I know, McAllen, Texas got a lot of ill shit going on right now where houses are going for like 300, 400. They're huge.
Yeah, they're mansions.
Yeah,
you
they're
know what
mansions.
I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean, I'll be like on Instagram, right? And sometimes I'll come across a video of this huge mansion, everything's marble, maybe like a chandelier that's like $10,000, but it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Absolutely. I mean, you get the best properties
Best
for
price.
the best price in the middle of nowhere, out in the country, little towns where people
Yeah.
usually aren't. But you're gonna get your bang for your buck. You
Yeah.
pay $400,000 for a house, but it'll be 3,500 square feet with a big backyard. The countertops, everything's gonna be done in a modern way. So if you looking to buy and you want the best bang for your buck, go out there where ain't nobody at.
But
Yeah.
that's cool, man. I wouldn't even see it as well. I don't want to be around people, no way.
No.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have a big ass house and be cool.
Huge
A
ass
lot of
yard.
those people too, bro, that buy those houses, they're doing some sort of remote work.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So they don't have to go clock in anywhere or go to an actual location to do their job. They're making money from their laptop.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got peace and serenity out there.
'Cause that's the biggest thing. I mean, for me in general, the reason why I like Charlotte and I love Charlotte is because it has a lot of space. You know, versus when I went down to Texas, it was a lot more space. You know, it's to me, it seemed like it's a place where you can actually live and have some freedom and do whatever the fuck you want on your property, you know?
That's major. That's very, very
And
true,
it's
especially.
beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And Texas is a place where And as we obviously get older, you know, it's not just about, you know, the living spaces, is it beautiful or whatnot, but it's also, you know, like you said, free to do what you want to do. So the laws there is more so catered to, you know, the person who wants to have their own land, who wants to build their own little community, whatnot. That's what
it's a stand your ground state, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
facts. You better not step on my porch, boy.
Yes.
No, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
stay off my stuff,
Yeah.
man.
It's private. It's private property. That's what they say.
Fuck you, man.
Get the fuck off my porch, man. But let's go ahead and light these stogies, man. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I've been waiting on it. Let's light these stogies. Yeah, it's something different.
That's a nice cigar you got in your hand right there, man.
Oh yeah, this what is this? This is a Padron.
Oh, so
Patron anniversary.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. And you Cleveland put me on to Padrones, y'all. But I didn't know. I just started smoking, you guys. So for those who don't know, I just started smoking cigars, right? Hector, back in the day, I was a Lucy smoker. You know what I'm saying? I would get a pack of Newports, go to the corner store, get a little, you know what I'm saying? A little $1 worth of Lucy's, or a Black and Mild, hype that shit. We was talking about it, hype a Black and Mild, take the cancer paper out, put it back in. It's only plastics. We're gonna do the wood. You can't hype a wood, a wood Black and Mild. And then they came out with the Jazz Black and Mild. I think it was 79 cents, 83 after taxes every time. But I stopped smoking, right? 2 years, right? 2 years I stopped smoking. And Izzy actually was like, yo, look, bro, cigars ain't like cigarettes, man.
Facts.
Cigars ain't like weed. Because I was like, nah, man, I don't want to put no smoke in my body, right? I was heavy, still am, but heavy into fitness and all that. He's like, no, bro. Rich people smoke cigars. Wealthy people smoke cigars. Poor people smoke weed and cigarettes. Think about the kind of conversations that you'll have with somebody who's smoking a cigar. You know, the usual conversations you have with somebody smoking a cigarette is what? Damn, bro, I ain't trying to be at work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Versus on break, right? You're a 15-minute break and smoking a cigarette, right? Versus with a cigar, boy, this is $26 a fucking cigar and more, right? So, I got $26 worth of smoke in my hand versus a $5 carton of cigarettes.
So it's $55.
Different mentality.
There you go.
Yeah, different mentality. And then, so he put me on. He's like, yo, bro, smoke it. So I smoked it. I guess it's all right, right? I guess it's all right. But then Clee put me onto the Padron, bro, and I do Padron 90 every time. Every time. Man, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's $78 or $8. If the Padron is $8, I'm buying that Padron. The Padron is it's just something about it.
It's the
so
cup of coffee.
smooth, bro. It's the cup of coffee, right? And black. It don't need nothing else. Just a nice black cup of coffee. Just the right amount of coffee, just the right amount of water. Boom, nice little cup. And when it gets to about this, well, that's when it's hitting.
That's when it's
It's
really
perfect.
That's the best
That's
part.
when it's perfect when it gets down.
That's when them thoughts get deep.
Yeah.
So let's go, man. You know, in honor, man, I appreciate we're in a very classy place in a disclosed location. You know, so let's go ahead and light these cigarettes. For the viewers who don't smoke, you know what, everybody, you want to torch it first, right? So you want to toast it, first, right?
Ring, yep.
Yeah, give it that little, you know, dry up the tobacco a little bit. Right? Then you put it to your mouth and twist.
Yep.
Money.
Ooh, nice and red. And you don't really want to ash it too much, right?
A good cigar, you want to let it stack up.
Oh yeah,
Amazing. Top tier.
Top
This is
tier.
Cigar of the year, by the way.
yeah, right.
Cigar of the
why.
year. Cigar. Amazing cigar, bro. Amazing cigar.
Oh yeah, and so Vegas, man, we in Vegas, y'all. You know, Clee came to Charlotte. When was it? A month ago, maybe?
Yeah, about a month ago, yeah.
month and a half.
Crazy.
Yo, you gotta come to Vegas. Yo, you gotta come to Vegas. Boom, it happened, right? Vegas, bro. What is it about Vegas that makes you like this place? You know, it's a different world for me.
Yeah. And I'll start off first off. You know, I want to appreciate y'all boys for coming because I will say this: it's not very often that you find people that when you extend your hand like that, and I come to y'all city and y'all show me a really good time. But when I extend the offer, you know, you guys I could see the ambition. It was just like y'all was like, all right, bet. I ain't even have to question it. And it was like, you know, and it was even times where I'm like, okay, I hadn't even checked in with y'all, but I called y'all last week and you're like, yeah, we coming out there. We bringing the stuff. And I love that, man, because that's what it's for young men. That's important. Very, very important. But being out here in this city, man, what I'll tell you is it's a very, very different place. Not many people meet someone and say that I live in Las Vegas, or you know, I can even say I'm from here to an extent, right? But for me, it's definitely something where being a young single man, obviously coming into the NFL where you extended and you're blessed with the funds of different things to really do whatever you want to do out here. I would say the opportunity is something that's major, but at the same time, it's both ends of the spectrum. You have the opportunity to do a lot of good out here, and the opportunity to really run yourself into a ground. So,
and we actually spoke about that during dinner yesterday. Which again, thank you, man. Yo, please show us the utmost respect, the utmost hospitality, man. Coming here, man. I mean, when there's mutual respect between two men, that's all you get. You know, tenderness. That hospitality, that love when you're building a brotherhood. Yeah. And we actually had that conversation yesterday. It was like, yo, you're either going to be on one extreme of the spectrum coming here because it almost opens a portal to your vices.
Indeed.
You know, and you're right. You know, you don't get too much, oh, yeah, I'm from Vegas, so I live in Vegas. You know, it's usually I'm visiting.
Exactly.
And when you hear it, you know what's up. You know,
exactly.
You're either coming for the gamble, you know, to get some pussy or to find some drugs, right? But for you as a young man, bro, to actually, you know, use that funding from NFL, that big shit, like anybody would have fucked it. Anybody would have let it, you know what I mean, drive you crazy, especially being in Vegas. But for you to stay focused and make the right moves, like,
exactly,
you know.
And that's important because I feel like being out here as a young man, that's what it is what you just said. It's a lot of addictions out here, and not to say that you have to run or hide from those things, because as a man, you have to choose to be good. You know, it's about that aspect of it. When you run from something, it's more so of a fearful thing. So, the aspect of you can either let the gambling, you can either let the women, you can either let the clubbing be your addiction, or you can let the getting to the money be your addiction. You can let the networking be your addiction. You can let any different type of thing, building something out here, starting your own place, anything. It's just those types of things is what you can really start to really hone in on, because when you live in here, it's so small. And that's what I tell people too. He'll tell you too, it's a very, very small place. You know, y'all know when y'all flew in, you like, shoot, you like, shit, we in the desert, like, where the hell this thing at? All we see is these mountains, the next thing you know, boom, it's just like a big old little opening right here. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing I would say. It's either gonna make or break you, a city like this.
I can definitely see that,
It makes
man.
or break you.
Yeah,
you know
I can definitely see that.
It can get really, really tough, but it's the aspect of, you know, like we talk about about fighting the other day. It's fight or flight. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to get it, because
composure.
Composure. You got to really get it, because you can, you know, it's both ends of the spectrum. You're going to see both aspects of the life that can be detrimental to you, for sure.
That's dope, man. And it was a pretty good flight. You know, it was my first time flying, so coming out here, you know, it was a little spooky. I'm not going to lie. It was a little spooky. Especially when they landed, man. That pilot, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if the boy was drunk, but that bitch just dropped. Yeah. That bitch just dropped. And you know, I felt my heart in my stomach. Boy, that shit was crazy. Yeah.
Nah, for real.
But no, you know, by the grace of the Most High God, we got here safely, you know, and, you know, by His will, we'll get back to Charlotte safe. But yeah, man, so, boom, you're young, you're in Vegas, it's your first time out here. What are you seeing? Like, did you go out? Like, did you just like, let me see what the city is about? Like, or did, you know, you already had somebody here that showed you the city, or how was it?
For me, I was always someone who was eager, you know, to be, I don't even want to say be out, but it's to understand your surrounding. You know, I don't ever want to live in a place and not be somewhere where you say, okay, I know the areas. You know, as a man, you're always that antennas is up the second you're in a new environment. To where, okay, where do I put my defenses up? Where do I let my guard down a little bit? For me, and what I understood was I always wanted to have connectivity. So being able to, and like it is now, right, with you, I can go to Charlotte. You can come to Vegas, or I got friends in Miami, New York, to where it's not about being able to just go and have a good time. But if I ever need something in a city, I want to be able to have an answer or a question ready for if someone like my friends, family were to come into town. So for me, being able to really extend my hands and really get my hands in different things was major, major important. So, but being in Vegas, what I say is, if you want to be tied to the money, you know, I'm sure it's different ways, but if you want to be tied to the money, you're going to have to go through being in the nightlife and the hospitality area, because that's where everybody is, what people come here for. It's the entertainment capital. He'll tell you all the time, like, and it's like I said, people come here for their extremes, you know, so you really can see the and I'll say it, the genuineness in people, you know, the honesty, you know, because you'll really see like, nah, you may be portrayed to be something on TV, whether you have celebrities or whether you have people who look like even doctors. But when I meet them in here, it's a completely different person, or very much could be, you know.
Yeah.
Or some people really stand on it, but as we all know, there's thoughts and there's things that everyone has inside their mind that they don't show nobody.
Yeah.
But Vegas is the place where that shit get let out.
It's
You know
almost
what I mean?
like it gives them an open invitation to be
do.
their true self, right?
Absolutely.
Their darkest self.
They do. And for a man, you can either obviously see that and you can be like, okay, I want to stay away from that. Or you can take that with a grain of salt and say, okay, now that I know that, that means me and that person, I know something about this person that obviously is a vulnerable thing, something that they wouldn't have on Front Street.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, right? So you can connect on that level. Because for that well-being, I mean, we'll tell you all the time, and being in even in this location or just around the city, it's very, very often you'll run into someone that's, you know, maybe of high net worth, of high celebrity status, or even of high of resources that can really, really put you in different things. But you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and meet people where they are.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and I actually heard this, I want to say about a week or two ago. They were saying, I can't remember who it was, but it was on the show. Everybody has three selves, right? I was trying to figure out what it was, right? And now in the midst of this conversation, I'm kind of more so understanding, right? Three selves: your personal life, your private life, and your secret life, right?
Exactly.
So your public life is what they see us, right? Now they see it on IG, they see it on TikTok, right? Social media, what you want people's perception of you to be. Then you got your private life, wife, girlfriend, kids, whatever, family, things that you don't want people to know, right? Is very intimate. And then your secret life, which the people in your private or your public life don't know. And I think, you know, you're onto something. A place like this that gives you that open invitation to be your darkest self will bring out that secret life.
It will.
Right? To where you see them. And I don't know, maybe this is from reading the 48 Laws of Power, but there's a way you can extort somebody by way of their weaknesses in that sense, their vulnerability, to where it's like, you know what, I'm a young man, but I'm focused and I don't allow these things, right, to possess me, because ultimately that's what it is. It's a spirit, bro. You know, all of this, right? The liquor, the wine, the cigarettes, you know, tobacco, the nightlife, you know, everything it's like a spirit. It's like an energy, right, that possesses you to a certain degree. How far you allow it to possess you is one thing, right? But remaining focused and being like, when bro over there has like 5, 6, 7 shots, he turned different.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, it's
let
very,
me make a
very true.
mental note. Make a mental note. Next thing you know, yo, bro, let's go drinking. You don't drink. He knows you don't drink, or you know how to control yourself. But after 5, 6, 7 shots, you start acting a little different.
There you go.
Same way with women. You know what, bro? I noticed that he trick off, bro. Trick off a lot. I want to do business with him, but I need to find the best way to do business with him. Let me send a bitch his way.
There you go.
Facts.
Hey, look, shorty, you know, ask him this, ask him that. You know, touch his neck, like, you know, kiss his ear, whatever you want to do to get that information out of him. Bring it back to me. Here, I'll give you some dough. You can use any vice to your advantage.
Yeah.
That's the 48 Laws of Power.
Indeed. And that's very, very true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. Seduction.
Seduction.
That's what I was thinking.
The art of seduction, yeah.
And that's what it is. That's how people, because that's how people want to be mused out here. Would it amuse you if I muse you? Would it amuse you if I use you? That's how that's the whole entire aspect, because it's definitely something where people, like you said, it's the dark life. So you're not just gonna get that on Front Street. Like, what you do? You hear what you wanna? Nah. People be like, oh, I'm gonna watch that person. But if you can get someone's comfort level down to a zone to where they really feel comfortable, and that music's playing, and you got beautiful women walking by, and then you got just all these amenities where you got the liquor, you got they dressing nice, everybody.
Yeah.
It's just a feel, you know what I mean, to where you feel like you're in a world to where you can't be touched, and then from going forward from there, you can really, like you say, be in a realm to where you can diverse and really pick and choose how you gonna plan out things to get things that you want. That's
Yeah,
really,
100%. And we've been weaponizing the beauty of women
Oh my
for
God.
centuries, bro.
Absolutely.
For centuries. Like it's so crazy how you can turn a woman into a weapon for you, bro.
Absolutely.
But and you guys, you know, either agree or disagree. I think either if it ain't for money, it's for love. She either has to love you or you have to pay her. But the difference is, with money, anyone else can come and give her that same amount or more money, right? and get her to do the same thing. Versus if a woman loves you, right? She loves you already, and you understand the game. You can get her to do things at your will. Indeed. You know, I'm not a big comic book fan, but I saw a movie. I think it was the Joker movie or something like that, or it was one of those movies, and you know, it was the new Joker, not Heath Ledger, the newer one. I think it's what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal plays him or something like that, and you know, he's talking to one of the characters, right? And what's her name comes? What's her name? The clown girl? Fuck is that? Harley, whatever, right? Harley Quinn comes and she sits on his lap.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
you know what that do?
Yeah, starts seducing him, and then boom, he killed him. People been doing that, bro. Mm-hmm. People been doing that. Indeed. You know, how do you think a lot of these guys, like these street guys, the guys that are operating outside of the law, get set up? Get a bad bit.
Women.
King Von did the whole fucking did a whole joint about it, right? Yeah, it's like I sent what's it called? True Story or what the fuck is it called?
Yeah, no, I know what song you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah.
Set them up, blah blah, whatever. And I think in Vegas would be a good.
On this pussy.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So no, it always been weaponized. But I wanted to ask you something, Isaiah.
Talk to me.
But what's the difference between North Houston and South Houston? But is that a thing? Like that's two different.
You got to understand that element. You got to really be in Houston to understand that element. That usually becomes a big thing if you're raised and really born there, because it's such a big difference in how they go about it. And it's just really small details. That's like
the swag.
It's not even so much swag because you're still a Houston guy. Of course, you still rep Houston, but it's a difference whenever you're in that mix, because Houston, the fourth largest city in America. So like with it being that, the north side is big and the south side big, but they pride themselves on different things. They may think north side dudes talk too much, gossip a little too much, or the south dudes may trip about women too much. You know, it just all depends on who you talking to. But at the end of the day, they still all Houston dudes. You got to really be from that element and in that space to understand the difference of when they start talking about it. Because when I played in college, you know, you hear everybody saying that they're doing it, and it's like, okay, I can see this is really a thing.
Because you went to college in Houston, right? Houston.
U of H, yes sir. Okay. University of Houston, yes sir. H-Time. It's just a different dynamic. It's a totally different dynamic. And to break it down to a T, like I said, it's just that inner city stuff. Yeah. It's just inner city.
You got to be from there to really understand what it is, right? Yeah.
Because we just operate, I mean, just in a totally different space in general. I consider Houston like its own state. You know what I'm saying? You meet somebody from Houston versus somebody from Dallas, you're going to be like, oh, no.
Different people.
Totally different people. Yeah. Totally different people. But then you take somebody from Houston and take them out the state entirely, you're going to be like, oh, man, it's a different cat. Yeah. It's because how we move and how we think. It's just a totally different type of atmosphere, and you got to know how to function and move. It's kind of like Vegas, but in a way, well,
they got culture down there. It's different culture, though.
Man, the culture is...
Swangers. Riding swangers.
And swangers,
yeah. You ever heard about that before? Swangers, you know about them?
That's the
elbows and voles, man. Come on, man.
I mean, it's just tipping, right? Still tipping on four
every time, keeping it player.
What is it? And really, man, and it's because Mike Jones could spit. I don't know why didn't he blow like that?
Because they're Houston rappers. You know, a lot of Houston rappers don't get the recognition. They talk about a lot of real stuff. Yeah,
but even Scarface get overlooked.
Almost all of, you hear about your Travises, you know, your Megan Thee Stallions, Beyonce being a singer, but the real Houston, if I put some Houston rappers on right now, you would never heard of them, probably would never heard their song, but the stuff they talking about and the way they flow on their beat is so thorough.
Yeah,
fall in
love
with it.
Pimp C.
We live and die by Pimp C, man.
Yeah, Pimp C was he was truth. Pimp C was truth. Face truth. Who else?
Ghetto
Bun
Boys,
B, Ghetto Boys,
Zero, Slim Thug.
Slim Thug.
Come on.
Slim Thug is from, I actually heard a month ago somebody bumping Slim Thug. I was like, but I ain't heard Slim Thug on the radio in years.
I listen to him almost every day, bro.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all about who you are. You know what I'm saying? You know, we talk about being a player, doing this and that, and a lot of people get it twisted. Being a player don't mean, I just got a bunch of women.
No.
It's about how you maneuver and handle every little situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
We pride ourselves on that in all situations. I'm a player. I ain't reacting. I ain't
reacting to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
One of the illest examples, too, that I seen was from Lil Baby. Even though he's from Atlanta, he was, he confronted, what's his name? Who the guy who owed everybody money?
Who?
I'm gonna give you the world, little girl.
YK Cyrus.
YK Cyrus.
Yeah.
So they at the jewelry store, and he's like, yo, don't you owe me $5,000? And he like, no. I mean, he's like, yeah, but come on, man, you got it, blah, blah. He's like, All right, now he's like, why didn't you text me? You don't need that low 5. It's like, cause I ain't gonna text. I'm gonna wait till I see you. I'm a player. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna wait till I see you. Like, why would I take you? Where my 5?
We men.
Yeah, we men.
Gonna have face-to-face conversation about something of that
bro,
magnitude.
Where that dough at, bro? Remember I let you borrow that dough, but in person versus text.
Absolutely.
Like, that shit don't make no sense.
That's how you get them.
Yeah, it's just like calling somebody over an issue. No, it's like, yo, bro, can you meet up?
I'm gonna pull up and talk to you.
Yeah, yo,
because
look,
how you
man,
supposed
I'm
to
having
do
this
it.
issue. Yeah,
and there ain't gotta be no beef, no confrontation, no fighting.
man.
It's literally like look in your face, have a conversation. You know, like we always have conversations about being men, but when it come down to the nitty gritty, the uncomfortable, a lot of people not trying to do that.
Yeah.
They're more so like, well, I'm just gonna call him. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Nah, sit down, have a conversation face to face. Look me in my eyes and tell me the truth. Tell me what you really got to say.
Yeah,
that's how you test the true magnitude of a man.
Yeah.
So you know, we big on that in Texas. That's everything.
How well composed you can stay. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like if it's a disagreement, we can part ways amicably. You know what? We don't agree, but whatever. You know, we keep it in play. Yeah.
And it's cool. I think that within that, like you just said, keeping your composure is key in every situation. We was talking about that yesterday too with the football thing. A lot of times there's a lot of ruckus going on around you. People can bring stuff to you, and as men, you're the leader of the household. Your wife, she emotional. She not made like you. She ain't gonna be able to handle the situation the same.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
But you being a man, you gotta be the one to be the rock, hold it down, be the one to keep everybody calm, let them know it'll be okay. Even if everything not okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool and we cool. When they see that you good, whether they said or not, if I see you as a man, as the leader of this household, you good, hey, I promise you, everybody is gonna relax.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We're going to drop the jewel and power that up because really, man, and I advocate against vulnerability in a relationship between a man and a woman, especially when there's children involved. Why? Because when you allow yourself to be transparent to a certain degree to where you become vulnerable, you no longer hold that role of a leader. Because if you're supposed to lead your family through turmoil, they can't see you out of composure, even if things are going wrong.
1000%.
Like you said, you're the rock, right? You're the one
1000%.
who structured this family. A woman's gonna base their decisions off of emotion,
By far.
right? And it's in their nature. It's okay. That's why men are needed. And then we're gonna be too logical at times where women are needed. You know, one day we might be scolding our son to far too right.
Absolutely.
And that's when the woman, of course, not in front of the boy, you know, of course, not in front of the boy, and with respect to your authority and your leadership, baby, I think you're being a little too hard on him.
Right.
We're gonna well, he needs to learn, blah blah, whatever the case may be, and that's where the woman whose intelligence comes from her emotions explains to you
How he may be feeling.
how he may be feeling,
Exactly.
and that's what you got to remember and put yourself in a child's mind as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, definitely, bro. Of course, keeping your composure, being the leader of your household, and then not only that, you always have to make sure that your son looks up to you, man.
Indeed.
By
If
far.
you're acting emotional, if you're acting out of impulse, how is he gonna look up to you like, damn, my father was a good leader? No, it's like if my father's emotional, I'm gonna be emotional too.
You're gonna be just like him.
Yeah, and it's subconscious. Like they're not making this decision consciously, but they're just picking up on your behavior.
Man,
you know what I mean?
I tell you, I got a daughter. She's 14 months, and within the thought process of having a child, you know, a lot of people got their own ideas and what they think. What I like to do is just sit back and watch. A lot of times, of course, I'm a parent. I discipline, I teach, I instruct, and I try to, you know, formulate her mind on everyday things that she needs to know and understand early on, so I ain't got to do it later.
Because they understand that 14 months, they're starting to learn.
They
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
People don't think they know,
That's
but
when
they know.
No, they know, man.
The first 3 years is
Yes,
when they
they
learn the
know.
most.
My son is 13 months, my youngest. I
And
got 3, yeah.
You forming his
Yeah.
mind right
Yeah,
now.
man.
But the biggest thing that I like to do is just sit back and watch. Because when I sat back and watched her, I got to really see. Because, you know, people put their traumas, their problems on their kids, thinking, no, she's thinking like this or he's thinking like that. Like, he may be feeling this. No, just sit back and watch. They'll tell you. Because they can't hide it. They're
No.
babies. They don't
Yeah.
know. They don't understand how to manipulate your mind of what they really thinking.
Yeah.
But instead, if you sit back and watch, they'll tell you. And it's like, nah. Got to go about it like this with them. Because look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that art of sitting back and watching as a man, you learn the most. You learn how to lead the best
Yeah.
by far.
That's fact.
How did you feel when your daughter was born?
I'm not going to lie. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, my guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't just have no crazy rush of emotion. I was happy. I mean, it was a crazy process to watch it happen. You know what I'm saying?
It was weird, right?
Oh,
Like, yo,
man. Man, I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, that's some tighten your belt up. You know what I'm saying? Get ready because it's interesting. But I mean, for me, it was more so I was already coming to grips with having a child. Like, as soon as I heard that she was pregnant, like, I right then and there was prepared. I knew I was like, okay, we got to do this, and this. Being a man, you know, planning for the future, thinking.
You had your father in your life?
By far.
Okay.
I'd say my dad, probably my best friend.
Wow. And that's dope.
Yeah.
Because you're 27, you said, right?
Correct.
27, Houston, father, mother, life. See, and that's dope, man. And for the ones who listen, that's how it's supposed to be.
Indeed.
You and your father are supposed to be best friends, right?
Yes.
Because in again, another example, you know, when you're a child, you're a young boy, someone breaks in the house, your father, go upstairs with your mom and your kids, boom. With your mom and your sisters or brothers, and you go down and handle that issue.
Facts.
When he's a teenager, tell your kids to go in the room with your mother and your father, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're older. He's protecting the house from the top of the stairs. Indeed. You still come downstairs. When he's 20, you both go downstairs.
Facts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When he's 30, 40, and you're 60, 70, now you're from upstairs and he's going down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that, you know what I'm saying, it becomes from you're here now, your son is here, and you transition because of his strength.
Exactly.
And I realized that, bro, coming from a single parent home, you know, my mother lives with me. So I realized that she raised me, right, as a single mother, whatever, you know, and I don't, this is, a lot of people don't like when I say this, but your mother can't teach you how to be a man.
Absolutely.
She can't be a mother and a father. That's a damn lie, bro. You know, they might try to, but again, try.
Yeah.
You know, there's that failure in that sentence, right? They can't. They don't know what a man is. They're teaching you based off their ideology of what manhood is,
what they think.
rather than what a man really is. You know, and ultimately, in this day and age, a lot of women are raising their children to be their boys to be the men that they fucking say they hate.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They can only go off what they've seen from their possible father or husband, or you have to then be shaped by the idea of what she's seen, whether it's right or wrong. You then have to say, okay, is my mom telling me this because this is literally how a man is supposed to be?
Yeah.
Or is she doing that because
She
her dad
thinks that's how
her
man.
perspective? You know what I'm saying? So it's a crazy dynamic. You kind of got to come to peace with things that happen before you or things that are out of your control. It's like, okay, my mom went through this, and this. I understand that. Given my situation, cool. I need to go about it like this. And I tell everybody, my dad is my stepdad. Like he didn't birth, like I'm not his genetically.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I can't look at him like my father.
Of course.
And I always have, out of respect and love. And he showed me how to do it rather than me saying, well, let me go talk to my, biological father. No, I didn't have to do that. Now, answers were given when I did that, but within talking to and just understanding and watching that man in my life, oh man, what is a dad by blood? No, he's my father in life.
And you call him dad and everything?
Call him daddy.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my daddy.
How old were you when he came into your life?
Man, I was little. I was baby.
So he made a huge impact in your life then. Yeah.
Changed my life.
I mean, for you to even say that's my best friend, it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Man, we used to beef when I was young. I was hard-headed, had a lot to say. You know what I'm saying? I just used to talk too much.
Yeah.
And we used to, but we used to beef when I was younger. But when I got older and I got to sit down and really understand the aspects of being a man and the thought process and the things he didn't say, the things he did understood, and we could really have grown man conversation, night and day difference.
Around what time do you think?
When I got out the house. As soon as I got out the house and went to college, me and him, tight.
Yeah.
Unbreakable bond.
That's a very, very real thing. Because what I would say is, and I learned this, just from my experience, a lot of times in life, your father ends up becoming your brother as you get older in life.
Truthfully.
Definitely. Because, when you get into that man stage, and this is what a lot of women don't really understand is, you need your father more in your 20s and 30s, really in your adulthood, than you really do in that infant stage. Because this is when you're making, and true testament to it, it's when you're making grown man decisions and some grown ass man mistakes as well. So you need that type of advice. That person that you can really lean on in those type of things. Even when you talked about being vulnerable, like even people like me and him, and maybe even y'all too, like we're Christians. So in the Bible, the book talks about when Jesus wept in front of his Father. He never wept in front of the people that followed him.
100%.
Yeah.
And people like to challenge me. I don't mean to interrupt you, my brother, but
yeah.
people like to challenge me on that. And I tell them, like, yo, Christ was never vulnerable in front of the people that followed him.
Nope.
And even and they like to say Jesus wept. Oh, Jesus was in front of Lazarus' mom and sister, when he wept in front of hundreds of people, it's like, yeah, but he wept out of grief.
Out of grief.
He didn't.
Exactly.
He didn't weep because of vulnerability.
Exactly.
And when he was vulnerable in the garden, he was vulnerable with his father. He even asked. He even asked his followers to stay here.
Facts.
I'm gonna go over here and pray.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
On his
So
own.
Exactly.
his vulnerability was his father. And I tell people, if you're gonna be vulnerable with anybody, let it be your father. If you don't have your father, your brother. If you don't have a brother, a man that you admire, love, and respect.
1000%.
And if you don't have any of that, you better do it with God, and you better do it in the dark, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Where you're alone and you can actually meditate on what it is that you're going through. But people like to say this, man. It's usually women and a lot of weak men. If I can't be vulnerable with my woman, then she's not the one for me. No, bro, you're just weak.
Yeah.
How do you think a woman would process the emotions that come from the reality men live? We live different realities.
Exactly.
You know, we have different worlds. And I want to finish this point because of the whole father thing. For example, my mother, right? Single mom, boom, boom, boom. Now she lives with me.
Right.
I've become the logic for her.
Yes.
Now I take care of her.
Yes.
Because she doesn't have a man. You see what I'm saying? She's not married. So it's almost as if you become the parent to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Because the husband is the leader of the house.
By far.
And if your mother doesn't have a husband, who's the next in line?
Yeah.
The son.
Man.
You know? And that's where you get a lot of son husbands in the world. My king, my king, my
That
king. No,
happens a
that's
lot,
not
yeah.
your
Exactly.
king.
Son husband.
That can't be your king.
That's
yo.
a real thing.
They're kissing them in the mouth and shit like that. Like that's like, yo, come on now.
Indeed. Someone who I really, really respect, Jordan Peterson talks about that, especially with single mothers. It's called the sorrowful mother. So
The sorrowful mother. Yep.
The sorrowful mother, where you have a lot of women, they keep their children, especially their boys, they keep them in this infant stage to where they're so dependent upon them to the point to where even when they mature into adults, they're still in this infant stage to where they're still babies in a sense, right? To where they still call mom for everything. Because here's what a lot of people don't understand. Me and him was talking about this yesterday. Take for example a woman who, when you have a child that's so attached to the mom at an early stage, you know, men tell them all the time, hey, put that baby down, let him learn how to be independent, let him learn how to do stuff on his own, figure stuff out. You ain't got to baby him the whole time.
Or he falls and you're like, yo, whoa, hold on, don't pick him up, let him get up.
You have a woman without a male there in the absence of it. It's a very true thing. Women can sometimes really get a good feeling from that, knowing that a child is like doesn't feel comfortable without having me in having them in their arms. You know what I mean? Like without comforting them. And so it's a thing of where she makes that baby kind of rely solely dependent upon her, to the extent to when you become an adult, it's like she's kind of making you become her caretaker. In a sense. It's a very, very different and a tough thing for sure. And I think that's why, you know, men is a strong man is needed.
And that's where you get that's where you get women saying, you must want a mama. I'm not finna be your mama.
No, really.
There you
go.
Yeah.
You must want a mama.
I mean, look at Baby Boy. Have y'all seen the movie Baby Boy?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was the beginning? The beginning of the movie, he was like, "Yo, men are like baby," and it's whack because it's almost as if they pushed it, right? Like, no, this is how we are. Although we are this way, but they didn't make a point to say, "Don't be this way." They just said it, right?
Right.
It's like, what do we call our women? Mama. What do we call our house? The crib. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, damn,
What you call your friends, your boys,
right?
boys.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, bro, like the hypnosis, bro, the programming, bro.
Indeed.
You know, even Nas said it's second childhood. You know, a lot of us are in our second childhood, man.
Truthfully.
You know,
Truthfully.
we're 30 years old, 35 years old, and it's still, yo, what's the next move? What's the next move? What's the next move? Thus, the addiction to the nightlife. You know, because now we're grown, we can smoke, we can drink, we can fuck bitches, but what is it really? You know, because ultimately, yeah, of course, we have a desire to have a lot of women, right?
Indeed.
But the grown man comes when you're like, no, this is my woman,
That
right?
one.
This one.
That one.
These are my children.
Right.
You know, it's been like that since the beginning of time. You have your wife, a king has his queen and his children, his prince and his princess, and then he had his concubines. Right? But the one who got everything was who? His queen, right? The wife, right? Indeed. The love. Because there's different love. Men, we can love 3 women at the same time.
Indeed.
Yeah, but there's that one that we love truly.
It hit different.
She gets all of your resources.
She gets all my resources.
Any and everything.
And that's one thing. That's where women, that's where the difference comes. Because women can only love one man at a time. Yeah. You know? They love, they admire, they respect you, they submit to you. Some do, but they submit, you know? and they can't possibly imagine how you can cheat on them.
No,
Absolutely.
You know, and
Emotional.
And then for us to try to explain, like, hey, look, I don't love her. It was just a good time. I don't even remember. I don't even like the bitch anymore.
Right.
I know you guys
forgot
know
her name.
Yeah, post nut regret.
Indeed.
You know it feel good, and then you bust a nut, and then it's like, oh look, I gotta go. You know, versus with your woman, you sit there and you lie naked with your woman.
Telling you.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Indeed.
I think when I took a deeper dive at a lot of that stuff. Women, you know, I know we said we're all Christians. I took a deep dive into the Bible. My dad a preacher, you know. We have a lot of deep talks about stuff like this. And one thing I come to realize is that, you know, when you lay down with a woman, you have sex with a woman, you know, it's you penetrating her. Right?
Yeah.
Women were created emotionally. That started from the beginning of time. So with that, you have to understand that you're penetrating not just her, you know, her genital parts. You penetrating her soul. And
soul.
for her to open up to you,
Yeah.
you have to break an emotional bond.
She has to love you.
In
Yeah.
order for her to
Yeah.
completely release and enjoy whatever she got with you in that time, she has to break that emotional bond and let you completely in.
Yeah.
So then when she sees you mess with another girl, she's like, ain't no way he doing to her what
Yeah.
he did to me.
Yeah.
Look how I feel now.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at my emotions. And then, nah, he can't do that. Nah, that's
Yeah.
mine. But they put their thoughts and emotions on us rather than it being actual logic, because you can't get a woman to think how we think.
No.
So they look at you like, oh, he's sleeping with that woman. He may think of her like, no.
He must love her too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's a very, very different thing, because men know when a woman really loves a man, it's as if every other man becomes unattractive to her.
Yo.
Absolutely.
She won't
focused on
even
him.
turn her head.
No, it's just
Not
like
at all.
it's like they just want to be like in your skin. It's
Yes.
like, you know, it's like it's such a it's a very, very different mindset that men can't even conceptualize. So
Yeah.
from that aspect, that's not how it is for men. It's more so
Yeah, because you know us, we see a good woman.
Yeah.
like,
We're
Very visual.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
damn.
when we love you, we'll really give you the world.
Yeah.
And that's what even in movies growing up, when you see like they really did used to show like a woman's really her biggest fear. Like, don't get me wrong, like the baby boy aspect is real, where you can just, you know, you may lay down with another woman, but what a woman really should be afraid of is if a man exactly gives his resources away.
To another
Absolutely.
woman.
That's
There you
like
go.
he taking care of
that's
her.
something that'll really hit you differently. That's when you know, oh, I'm really losing him. I'm to the point to where it may really be done, where he may love another woman. He's spending money on her. He's spending time with her. He's adhering to her. He's the same thing that he is for you. He's her protector now. That's something where that's a feeling that women really could understand, to where that's when a man really, you've lost him. But in regards to that, that's just like in regards to just the everyday struggles of dealing with temptation. That's just a natural thing that men deal with consistently.
Oh, man.
And it's hard to lose a man. A man, my bad. It's
It
hard
is.
to lose.
It's hard.
When he
And
loves
that's
you,
what
he
I
loves
was
you.
saying. When
Yeah.
he loves
Yeah.
you, he loves you, and because
Yeah,
he don't
unbreakable.
want to you know spread himself too thin, or even put in that time and effort with whoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you like multiple wives or whatnot, but every man knows, like, when it gets to a certain point to where like you gotta focus on one, because focusing on too many of them, you'll never really
Get out of control.
can't do it.
You got to
It'll
make
do it.
sure you do this,
Oh,
that,
bro, it
that.
get hectic. It get hectic.
I think overall though, and then you know, I want to hear what you guys think though. Overall though, when a girl or when you cheat, maybe on a girl, or you know, it just happened. I think that she's not necessarily mad because you cheated, but she feels that way because unconsciously is because she doesn't want to. She doesn't want you to give your resources to somebody else.
She doesn't
it's
want to
not
be replaced.
It's
Nah,
not
replaced.
necessarily that you're
She don't
cheating,
wanna be
but she
replaced.
doesn't want to be replaced or.
The first question: do you love her? How long you been talking to her?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you
what's the-
love her, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Or-
love her?
Emotional attachment.
go.
It's that
Yeah.
emotional
How well
attachment.
do you know her?
What you feel, what you giving a woman. Like I tell you, once a woman embraces you, man, it could get really deep and get kind of, you know. But we men, we're gonna have a thorough conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it funky.
You know how
Yes, sir.
people say like, oh, it wasn't good. Like they have sex with a woman, it wasn't good, or she wasn't wet enough to say. You know what I'm saying? You hear that and it's like, nah, you just didn't. She didn't love you, and she didn't open herself up to you.
Yeah.
But when she do, it's like, woof,
Yeah.
the water is broken. It's leaking, right? But it happens that way because she completely released to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's opened herself emotionally to you. If a girl don't like you and don't fool with you, man, you gonna be able to tell. As soon as
Yeah,
you lay
she won't
down.
even fuck you though. I
Exactly.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Like
I
she
mean,
gotta
she
fuck with you
definitely
to
gonna-
to a certain degree.
real
And then that how it is when you have sex, but then the aftermath.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? How attached is she just attached because I laid it down good? Or is she, how far is she willing to go for me?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then now we're not even talking about sex anymore.
Right.
You know, now we're
No,
talking about other
life,
things like
indeed.
what will she do? Will she aid me in my quest and my mission? You know what I mean? Like how can I use her to my advantage? Because I mean, since we were talking about the Bible, women they belong to us.
Facts.
You know, you don't belong to a woman. She belongs to us, right? And not a possession as far as an inanimate object, but a possession that should be cherished. You see what I'm saying? That you now I have the responsibility to protect you, to die and kill to protect you, to offer you security, right? Thus their submission. Thus, they're yielding to our authority. They're submitting to our leadership. They're giving us the biggest honor that you could give a man, child. You know? Yeah, because,
their life.
you know, and we don't, as a men and women as a collective, and more so in our communities, we don't cherish that honor anymore. We don't cherish the honor of a woman's virginity anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, to where you just want to you fuck her, and that's it. She lost her virginity, and now you might have turned her out. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Versus we used to cherish a woman's virginity. It's like, damn, yo, she gave me her virginity. Like, you know, I'm her. She gave me the honor of being her first.
Facts.
You know, we don't cherish these things anymore. And I want to say that when you brought up the thing about a woman being emotionally tied to us, I guarantee you that the devil couldn't have tempted Adam.
That's why Adam got in
Indeed.
trouble.
Yeah.
Because he allowed Eve
To tempt him.
to
And he
tempt
said
him.
that.
Exactly.
Indeed.
To tempt
The
him.
first simp.
Man, I
Indeed.
tell you.
You know?
And he said it, and I can't quote it exactly, but it says in the Bible, it says, because you listen to your wife, or because you listen to, I think it's because you listened to your wife and ate the fruit, now you have inherited the sins of the world. And that's what it happened.
By far. And that's how
But the first thing he said was because you listened to your wife.
Yeah,
Indeed.
because of this.
Because of this. Right.
But that's why the devil was so smart, because he knew who would get Adam to do it.
Indeed.
Facts.
The one
Indeed.
person that had him and that he trusted and listened to, which he probably shouldn't in that moment. You don't need to take that. If God gave you an instruction, go with that instruction. That's why God gave it to you, not your woman. I left you in charge. I left you to lead. Man, in the Bible would say the husband is the head as Christ is the head of the church.
Yeah.
So in words, how the church looks at Jesus, our wife looks at us and she submits herself to us. So what it look like we go to church and we tell Jesus what we ain't going to do.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to look kind of crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
But then you put that in perspective and say, okay, well, if that's the case, why do we protect our women? Because Jesus protects us.
Yeah.
Why do we cut for our women? Why do we provide for our women? Because Jesus provides for us.
Yeah.
But in that same token, if she not moving and doing what she's supposed to be doing, it's going to fall all out of order. Fall all out of order, excuse me. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, because this is important, in Proverbs, it says that a boisterous woman or a woman,
A clamorous woman is a
it's like a
woman.
leaky roof. When you think about that, you building a house, well, you got a leak in the roof. What happens if you don't fix that leaky roof? Man, after a while, it spreads and it gets worse.
Yeah.
But then what happens? Your whole house is tore down. We'll put that into modern day society.
She chewing you out in front of the children.
Exactly.
Your woman don't respect
everything-
me.
I see that a lot
Laughing
often,
at
bro.
her.
Man, do you
laughing
not
at
know
you.
that is
Yeah.
so bad because you don't realize what you just said. Not only did you just mess up the roof, but you messing up the walls too.
Yeah.
Everything's just starting to come down slowly but surely. Them kids ain't gonna respect you no more.
What?
Yeah.
Now you got a battle of fighting your kids and your wife because your wife just won't sit back and let you be what it is you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Man, it's a crazy dynamic, and a lot of people don't know it and see it, but it's deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, ladies, for those who listen, who claim that they crazy, I'm married to Christ. Oh, Christ said a clamorous woman. No, I think it said a silent woman is a blessing from God. You know, we don't want clamorous women, rambunctious women who can't shut up. You know, now that doesn't mean don't speak your mind, but there's a way, there's a feminine way that a woman gives her opinion to her husband. I made a post. I'll say the post, and I want to bring this up also because we're talking about the dynamic of family. Because it goes into our children, right? Especially our daughters. You know, not just our sons, but also our daughters. So the post, I said, there's a way that you speak to a man. A lot of women understood it, but a lot of women didn't. A lot of men didn't. And I said, if you're going to talk to your man, he's about to make a decision. You don't feel that comfortable with that decision. Go to him a certain way. Baby, you know I love you. You know I respect you. You know, I admire you. You know that I've always felt comfortable with every decision you make because I yield to your authority and I submit to your leadership. However, this decision that you're about to make makes me very uncomfortable. You as a man, you're going to decide, you know what? My woman does love me. And she's always comfortable with every decision I make, right? But for some reason, this decision, she's not too comfortable with it. Let me reevaluate what I'm going to do. You might still make that decision, but you're going to think twice about it because of her intuition. There's things that women see that we don't see. And that's the beauty of them, right? That women intuition is real.
It is.
You know, that's why I was like, how the fuck did she know I was talking to that bitch?
She can feel.
She feels that
she
shit,
can feel
right?
emotion. She can feel it.
She feels it. It's like a sixth sense almost,
is.
just like the gut.
The
It's like,
danger.
damn, bro, something about my gut
Something telling
me
you.
that that's in us, that instinct, right? Now with the daughters, I was having a conversation via live with this young lady from Miami, and she wanted to speak her mind on how important a father is in Miami. You know, she said, "Yo, I don't even have friends anymore because I don't want to be around that kind of mentality because my father runs my house. I live on my own." She's like, "I'm 27, but because of unfortunate circumstances, my son's father isn't alive anymore. So my father runs my house because I don't have a husband." And that mentality, that way of thinking, I think it's a big example to a lot of the young ladies. Now, of course, unfortunately, a lot of young ladies don't have fathers, but for her to understand it, it's like, you know what? Even though I'm 27 years old, I have a son. I live on my own. My father runs this house.
Yep.
I'm still under his authority. Thus, when you marry a woman, what's the first thing you do? Well, you're supposed to do. Go to the father. You know, I want to marry your daughter. This is what I have to offer. Thus, you know, and they say this a lot. A lot of ladies say this a lot when I have these conversations with them. Oh, you want to go back to when they used to sell us for sheeps and cows? It's like, no, that's not what it was. What it was is me as a man, I come to your father and I say, look what I have to offer. Your daughter will be secure under my responsibility. So that's why the father gives his daughter's hand in marriage to a man that he feels is capable of holding that responsibility. Like, hey, look, she's under your responsibility now. Now it's your turn to take care of her. Absolutely. That's why he walks her down the aisle, gives her hand to the husband, right? And for her to say, yo, I'm still under my husband, my father's authority, yo, that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be that way because that's disrespectful. The head of every man is Christ. 100%. The head of every woman is the man. And if the man isn't there, you're not married, who's the man? Exactly. Your father.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, your father.
I can't say it verbatim, but the general topic is a woman leaves her father and her mother and gets married to a man and they become one.
And they become one, yep.
But it specifically says she leaves who? Her mom and her dad. Her dad is the leader, he the head. So it's up to him to give her away. Not in the sense like she's property. This, I had to take care of her. She was my responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm giving you my daughter and she's going to be your responsibility. I need to look you in the eye as a man to be able to say, will you really be able to take care of my daughter when stuff hit the fan?
Yeah.
Is you really going to lead her in the right direction?
Yeah.
Well, let me look at your life, what you got going on. And that's for the men. Like, you want all these women, you want this and this, but you ain't got your stuff in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women
you don't got a house, you don't got a car, you don't got good money. Like,
you don't even have an idea. You don't have an idea of what it is you're going to do. I mean, everything starts with the mind, but you don't have an idea, but you want these women. No, women, everybody talks about women want money. They want security.
They want security.
Yeah. They want to be somewhere stable. Because why? You want me to have your kids, but you ain't got no type of nothing? Oh, no, I can't do that. Yeah, you're attractive. Yeah, you can talk. Yeah, you can do all the other stuff, but I need the idea of security because that's what I saw from my father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a deep thing, but you know,
it's other nature too.
Because I believe it's something that's within us. You know, it's within them that biologically, for them to survive and replicate. And how are they going to do that? By finding the best, fittest man in order to do that and create that family.
Right. The hypergamous. Right.
Tell them about back in the day how you said, like survival. Women look for the men that will go out and take care of, that would be able to defend the house, defend her. You know what I'm saying? That's a really deep thing because, man, you looking for a man that's really gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
Indeed.
In
Not
every
just
circum-
physically, but also financially,
Definitely.
security. Yeah.
every way
Everything.
possible.
That's
Every
why I
way
advise
possible.
young men, bro. I advise young men, you shouldn't even be taking a woman seriously until you're about 30, 35. You already know the man you want to be, or you're already becoming this man, or you're already him. And I advise the ladies, yo, be looking for a guy 5, 10, 15 years older than you. There's nothing wrong with that age gap.
Yeah, and they do that anyway.
It's only here in the United
Absolutely.
States that
Anyway.
we don't see that.
It's within them biologically to do that, because we know that as a man, it takes time for us to get wisdom,
Mature.
to
Yeah.
To
create
indeed.
resources, to become a man of status.
Yes.
And so for a woman that's looking to, survive and replicate, they're going to look to older men who already been through war, that already built up their status, their resources in order for them to have a stable family for their kids.
Yes, sir.
That's big, bro, that you brought up.
Yeah, women want men with experience.
Yes.
Men don't want women with experience. Only like weak. A lot of guys, man, will say, "Yo, if she can't fuck, I don't even want to fuck with her." Like, come on, bro. Like, you're thinking about it so minimal, like so
talking
little.
about?
It's like we don't
You
like
can
we
really
don't. You
teach 'em.
teach, yeah,
It's
you
such a
teach a
small
woman.
space.
You see
You
what I'm
can
saying?
teach
Like,
her to do that.
it's you teach her to what you want her to
right.
do.
Exactly.
Not what
Exactly.
6 other men already told her, and now she's comparing you to all those other men. Like, and it has nothing to do with insecurity. It has nothing to do with being intimidated. It has nothing to do with what you think about your sex game. No, when real men who know who they are, who they want to become, and they understand the values of life, truly what it is, the intersexual dynamics between men and women. It's not about that. It's about the experience. We don't want to have a woman that's experienced. Scars on a woman ain't sexy. Scars on a man is sexy,
Very sexy.
because you can understand that he went to war and survived. You know, that's why between the ages of 18 and 25, 26, a woman needs to be doing everything in her power to secure the man who's going to secure her future.
Exactly.
And a man between the ages of 30 to 45, that's when you're going to be at your peak. That's when you're going to have an abundance of women, and you get to pick from the litter.
Yeah.
What woman do I really want? And we're biologically hardwired to be attracted to women 18 and 25. This is science. This is science. Same way women are attracted to men with beards, taller, stronger. You see what I'm saying? Facial hair. I can't grow no facial hair, but you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I get little whiskers, but but y'all know what I mean. So it's that strength, That's why I advise guys, man, to be the fittest. Be at the best physical shape they can get, and take your time with yourself. That's why we don't reach our peak till we're 30, 35, 40. That's when we reach our physical peak, 30, 35. Your sense of style. Dress like a fucking man. Don't be running around looking like a child. A lot of guys, you go to the mall, you see the son and the dad, both t-shirts and jeans. Jordan Peterson said this. You can't tell them apart.
Yeah.
You see a kid and a big kid. No, dress like a man. We're not saying dress in a suit every single day, although nothing wrong can come from dressing in a suit. People are going to perceive you different, but solidify your fashion sense, your style personality. Your finances need to be in order. Fashion, your fitness, your finances need to be in order. Ultimately, having your family in order. Don't let your woman chew you out in front of your children.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do. Correcting you in front of people. There's women that speak for their husband.
Indeed.
Oh no, he doesn't like that. Damn, the way he don't speak.
Did he say that?
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I can't stand when somebody's like, hey, do you have this or do you have that? Oh, matter of fact, just to keep it plain, I don't like when women address me when they're with their man.
Facts.
I'd rather address the man.
Address the
exactly.
man.
Like,
That's
yo,
your man.
why are you speaking for your husband?
By far.
But I can't blame her.
Right.
You blame the man.
No,
because a
yeah.
woman is a reflection of you as a man.
By far.
You see what I'm saying?
yes.
If a woman is acting out of order in public, that's a reflection of you as a man. If a woman is unfaithful to you or unloyal, because men are unfaithful, women are unloyal. If a woman is unloyal to you, that's a reflection of you.
Yes.
If a woman is going out every weekend with her friends without you, that's a reflection of you. So we have to take responsibility as men and understand, we got to set boundaries. But this is where the issue arises. A lot of men have lack of abundance with women.
Yeah.
They're scared to lose them.
Yep.
So they allow certain behaviors, they allow certain things to fly. They don't
Telling
put their
you.
boundaries,
Yeah.
and they don't make strong boundaries,
Exactly.
and the women run all over them.
And a lot of men have never even experienced what that really feels like to have a woman really take a step back and allow you to be in your true man presence. Like, because it's like what you said. A lot of people, especially in our society in the West, for sure, you know, they're taking this thing that we call empathy and they're weaponizing it to the point to where if you do anything that is seen as stern, as upfront, as boastful, as something that is seen as a bold statement, you know, they take that and they make it seem like you're bad for that. Don't you telling me the truth? You don't care about my feelings first instead of more so, you know, the truth is what needs to be heard.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. But they take empathy as something that a lot of men, sad to say, because we have a lot of men that were raised by their mothers, only by their mothers, and we were taught to don't talk to no woman like that, or no, why you doing that? Why you being mean? You know, that was the first thing that a lot of kids really learned. But instead of being truthful, being honest, it's about doing the right thing, not so much as doing the thing that makes you feel good. You know,
That's a fact.
It's a very, very true thing. And people, and you know, if a weak man, like you said, he'll let that control him. Let a woman, you know, saying like, oh, why you doing that, or worried about what she gonna do. You know, at the end of the day, but when you really stand on it, you'll see it's a very different feeling, because the other side is a completely different thing. Completely different.
Because consulting with your wife, not your girlfriend, consulting with your wife is different from asking her for permission.
It is.
By far.
Yo, bro,
It
can
is.
you come? Yo, bro, look, we're gonna be at Blase Blah. Pull up. Oh, I gotta check with the wife. It's like, what the fuck?
you talking about?
You don't lead your motherfucking home,
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm
what you
saying?
mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
give her a warning, let her know, hey, boo, look, man, I'll be back. I'm
You
gonna
know-
go handle some
Exactly.
business, whatever, you know. But for you to have to, my bad, Izzy, I'm gonna let you talk. For you to, like, I gotta check with the wife. I don't know, man. You know, she gonna put a fit, man. I don't know. It's like, damn, bro, like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
You
You
know
know
what I'm
what's
saying?
funny? Whenever I have like buyer clients and stuff, and I go show them houses, you can tell within like the first 5 seconds who's in charge of the
running shit?
relationship.
Who running
Bro,
that shit?
the woman, she will lead, right? She'll be like, she'll start asking me questions, this and that. Oh, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get that, and I'm trying to talk to the guy, and she'll butt in and be like, no, I don't think this house, we shouldn't get it, and the guy won't say anything. You know what I mean? And
And you recognize that as a man.
Yeah, it's a sad case.
Man,
And what do? You lose respect for the man.
Yeah,
You know?
I do.
And a weak man will say, I don't care, man. My wife respect me. It's like, what the fuck you mean? Bro, your
don't.
wife, she's supposed
don't.
to.
She's supposed to.
Yeah, she's supposed to respect you. And she
don't.
truly doesn't.
Because that's a masculine role, bro.
Yeah,
And
it
when
is.
women take on that masculine role, they don't want to take on that role. They start to resent you. What's the book called?
Which one?
The one that we're reading on or listening to on the trip to Atlanta?
The Way of the Superior Man.
Yeah, that story.
Yeah, great
about,
book, y'all.
It is
Great
the way
book,
this-
yeah.
Who wrote that? You know, remember?
Something Datey, Dan Datey or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had to send me that.
The Way of the Superior Man, man. Great book,
Yeah.
man. It really taps into like what masculinity. Of course, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Apply what you need to your life or whatever. But you know, it's the perception of another man, so you know, take it with a grain of salt. But he does bring up a lot of good points. For example, you know, it speaks lightly about the intersexual dynamics between men and women in relationships.
Very true.
It gave the example of you know, so your wife comes to you and says, hey, why didn't you clean the garage? You said you were going to clean it two weeks ago. And you say, I'll clean it in a little bit. I'm going to go out for a few hours and I'll clean it when I'm back. Now she's mad at you.
Exactly.
Now you're wondering why she's mad at you. Yo, if it's about the garage, I'm going to clean it. I said I'm going to clean it, but it's like, no, it's not. It's about your word. Because
Yeah.
word means
Your
different
word, it
to men than it does women.
Exactly.
If you ask a woman, hey, do you want to go out on Saturday? Matter of, you don't even ask her. You tell her, hey, let's go out on Saturday. And she flexes on you, right? She doesn't go. Word to women isn't the same as word to men.
Indeed.
You know,
Yeah,
it's different because they're operating on emotions. She might have very well wanted to go out with you when you asked her.
Indeed.
You know, but then I don't know, her fucking dog died. Her
She
you know,
talked to her best friend
Yeah.
last second.
yeah, it's raining. You know, her fucking foot hurts. It could be anything. You know,
Yo, bro.
and now you're like, man, that bitch a cap. Yo, she lying, man. She ain't got no way. And it's like, nah, bro, it's just shit happens. But that's how women operate. Versus a man, if you say, yo, bro, I got you, bro, I'm gonna hold you down that day, and you don't come, that just makes
real
me
fucked up.
question.
Nah, it
does.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Everything.
like our word is everything for us, man.
By
you know?
far.
Exactly.
You know. Well, I mean, what does Scarface say? All I got in this world is my balls and my word,
No,
and I don't
true.
break it for nobody.
Women look at your word the same way, you know, we look at God's word. When it's spoken, it's supposed to happen. That's how that's how they
Yeah.
look at it. You know, word is born.
when it's spoken, it has to
it
happen.
has to happen. It's law. It's brought into existence.
Hell
like
yeah.
that.
It's a very, very real thing. And holding yourself to it, it really gives her a sense of, like you say, security.
Yeah.
Definitely security for
Yeah.
sure. That's Amazing.
I say this, you know, like I tell you, I'm a big Bible thumper. Y'all can see that now. In the Bible, it says, husband, love your wives. But it also says, wives, respect your husband.
Respect
Respect your husband.
Two different
things.
And people miss that. Like, okay, it says that, but I do respect him. No, you love me because that's how you were made. You were made from love, and you want to give me what it is you have. No, give me what it is God told you to give me.
Respect.
But the thing that's really big about that is, if a relationship and a marriage is one of the biggest and most important things you can have in your life, and God gives an instruction to a woman to respect your husband, imagine going out in the world and thinking that you're not supposed to get respect from other people or carry yourself in a respectable way. I always say that amongst men, you treat people how you kind of feel about yourself.
Yeah.
True.
Like,
Very
if
true.
you give me a reason not to respect you, that's still up to me to give you respect, even if I don't respect you, right? So if you are as a man in the house and your wife is not respecting you, did you give her a reason not to respect you? I mean, yes, within her to respect you, she's supposed to follow that command. But honest to God, truly, you got to look yourself in the face and say, did I give her a reason to respect me? Did I let my yay be yay and did I let my nay be nay?
Indeed.
Did I really stand on the principles and the foundation I tried to lay in this house? Or do I tell her to do something, and when I tell her to do it, I'll circle back and do something else that's completely apart from the foundation? Or I say something to her like this, or I say to my kids, do as I say, not as I do. Well, you're dumb, because God didn't give us 5 senses for us to only use one.
Yeah.
They see and they hear. So they may hear you say, do as I say, but not as I do, but they're still watching you.
Yeah.
As the leader, they're watching. So give them something to respect.
Yeah.
And more than anything, respect yourself as a man. I don't think that's something that's being done enough in society as it is. You want to demand respect from everybody, but you're not respecting yourself.
Well, command it.
Yeah.
Commanded.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you demand, you feel entitled to that respect.
Exactly.
Rather than saying, you're going to respect me whether you like me or not.
right.
I don't care how you feel about me. This
1000%.
respect is you must give it to me.
Man.
You know what I mean? I don't care if it makes you feel something. This is how, and I teach my son, because he asks me a lot all the time. I say yes or no, sir, to like everybody, right? Any young man. I don't care if he's young, old, my age, or whatever. How come you said yes, sir, to him? He's younger than you. I'm like, because I'm establishing respect.
Respect.
You know, I don't care if he's younger than me. I don't care if he's older than me. I have to, sir, excuse me, how are you?
Absolutely.
Right? Because I want to be treated a certain way. I want to be spoken to a certain way. Now, some people are fucking knuckleheads out there, you know what I mean?
far.
But I'm not gonna taint who I am
Who you are.
because of another person. Same way as like, yo, if you're disrespecting yourself, that doesn't mean I'm gonna disrespect you.
By far.
Because it tells a lot about who I am.
By far.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you got to
Yeah.
really just sit back and pay attention to that. Man, I tell you, it's a crazy dynamic in this world, man. You just sit back and watch and you just pay attention. You give respect. You know, we talked about the whole South being from Houston.
Yeah.
I tell people, I come here to Cleve and see it. You know, this is my main man. We go everywhere together. He know, like, when it come to respect, I'm not playing. We kill about that down
Yeah,
in Texas.
facts.
I'll really flash out on you behind respect, right? I had to learn to stop doing that, but still, it's the fact of, it's not something I just want. I'm built to have that as a leader. I'm not saying you have to give me respect, right? Do I deserve it? Absolutely. That's up to you to give it to me. But as a man and as men, I don't think it's known that people know that we need that and we're supposed to have that as men. They look at us like, okay, yeah, I'll be nice, I'll be cordial, whatever. You know, coming on the West Coast, it's a little different. You know, Vegas, Cali, it's a little different. But you're supposed to give it in a totally different way than what people have been giving it as of recent in this area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right about that too, being on the West Coast. I know there's a lot of people, the yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, they don't like receive that as well as they do in the South. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm from Charlotte, so everything is yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. And I've spoken to like young ladies and I'll be like, you know, they'll say, let's say I'm buying some shit. Are you gonna use card? And be like, yes ma'am. And be like, I'm not old. Why are you saying yes ma'am? I'm like, because you a lady. You know what I'm saying? It's respect.
Respect.
But I noticed that men more so say yes sir, no sir to me. I think I've only come across one woman in the last year or two that say yes sir, no sir to a man, and that's because of the lack of respect for men as a collective, from women. You know, women don't respect men collectively.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and me and Izzy were actually I was on live. I was on live earlier, and I was talking about like the construction workers and the guys who like put the electricity, the work on it. They get some of the least amount of respect, not just from men, but also from women, because we fail to realize how much how responsible they are for the infrastructure of the whole world, bro.
Absolutely. Where everything always breaks.
Yeah.
You know, the electricity. Well, bro, we sitting in AC in a nice little classy
Power
place.
grids. Yeah.
Who built? A man built this.
Exactly.
A man designed it.
Foundation.
The city, everything.
The city, man.
Foundation.
The oil, our transportation. I was on live chewing the guys out because some guy said, "Yo, how do I make $1,000 in a week?" And I said, "Bro, there's many ways that you can make $1,000 in a week." Izzy brought this too. He was like, "Bro, he probably wants to make $1,000 easy."
Yep.
You gotta
Easy.
put some fucking work.
That's
Are
the
you
que-
willing to
that's
actually
the
do
real
it?
question.
You go out here, you see how many people are hustling out there?
Yeah.
Yes.
I told you
shit.
about the Spider-Man
Yeah,
guy.
he got hustled in
He
like
got
2 minutes.
his First Fresh Vegas.
What happened?
He
What-
got.
Well, he didn't hustle me, but he he hustled me though.
He seduced them.
Yeah, he dressed up as Spider-Man, right? He's dressed up as Spider-Man, and I walk by, and I'm like, oh shit, look, it's Spider-Man. I'm like, I'm gonna take a picture for my son. So I was like, yo, bro, I could take a picture, with you for my son. He's like, what's your son's name? I told him my son's name.
Hit you for that cash.
Yo, he was like, do a video. He told Israel, do a video. So he's like, yo, your dad just saved my life. He kicked Green Goblin's butt, blah, blah. He was like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm eating it up. But I'm like, yeah, right? The motherfuckers picked me up and everything. It took a picture, yeah. He was like, yo, bro, you wouldn't happen to have $40 for me and my man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, damn, I ain't got no cash on me, bro. Don't worry about it. I got Vimeo. I got Cash App. He had everything ready. He even had the little, he was 18. He ready.
We could walk ATM right there in the casino. We could walk up in there.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. Hustling.
Bro, we getting his money.
Nah, that's what
So
we
for
gotta
a
do.
young man who we're in the age of technology, they got the power of the world's information in their fucking hand.
Yes.
But what do they want to do? Scroll through TikTok and watch bitches twerk. You see what I'm saying? Or watch stupid shit, And they want it easy. They want it to fall on their lap, Not everybody has to be famous. And even on the live, a young man said, bro, I make $100,000 a year driving Cisco trucks. You telling me you can't make no money, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Like,
the
no,
first question. Very
Everybody
true.
wants to be famous. Everybody wants to have like that status. And it's like, yo, bro, what happened to the respect for the construction worker, bro?
exactly.
Who's building the fucking roads that we drive on, the pavement we walk on, the electrician who powered the houses we live in, the apartments we live in. You see what I'm saying?
Bricklayers,
Or
anybody.
the Cisco.
Bricklayers, anybody.
Yeah, the bricklayers, the Cisco truck drivers who bring in the food from one state to another state for us to be able to go into the damn grocery and buy a goddamn grape if we want.
Yeah.
We lost the respect for these men. You know what I mean? Like, these are the guys that keep the world running as we know it. But no, who do we look to? That 1% of men who, mostly the ladies, that 1% of men who got all the power in the world, and they don't realize, 99.9% of the rest of the men in the world work regular jobs.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's a sad thing.
Everybody has to.
If you're unmarried and you're making 100, well, just say 100 plus, right? And you're like 25 years old, $100,000 a year, unmarried. You're 5'7", which is like average, I believe.
5'10".
That puts
We're
you,
short,
bro.
yeah.
That puts you ahead of the curve with all the men in the U.S. You're like, I believe, like 18%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin
very
Samuels
crazy.
even said it.
Super
He's like,
small.
if you're unmarried with no
already red.
children, making at least $75,000 a year, bro, you're
Cream of the crop.
you're
You're
gold.
doing- You're golden.
great.
Come
You're
on.
doing great.
You're
It's
golden.
because people are looking at what they want but don't deserve. It's like, okay, I want to be this, and this. But, bro, you're just fine there. You don't got to be seen. You ain't got to compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. If I'm watching what you got and seeing and trying to consistently, but that's not for you. And you
Yeah.
know it's not. That 75K, hey, bro, you could be real happy. You could be real good. But don't nobody want to lay the bricks to get that. They don't
Yeah.
want to do that no more.
They want
that
it
fast
easy.
track.
They
They
want
want
it
the
They
fast
fast
want,
track.
yeah. And
They want to
what-
manifest that shit, and it's just gonna happen. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, this work.
But here's the
There's
thing.
word
of manifest it.
What I
Yeah.
notice is most humans, the way that they operate when they make a decision or they become committed to either buying something or starting something, they would do it if the reward is like 2 times higher,
Exactly.
right? Versus like when you buy an iPhone, right? For me personally, I just bought this 15, right? Or the 14,
14,
the
yeah,
fucking
14.
newest one.
Yeah.
The one I had before was the 11.
Right.
It took me, I don't know, like 3 years or something to get the new phone, but because supposedly it's like 2 times, 3 times better, right? And that's how humans operate when they make decisions.
It is.
Versus now, where everybody's just pussified. Most men, they don't want to put in the work.
Majority, bro.
Majority, bro.
It's insane. You know, people want high rewards without putting in the work. Like you would never get that.
Yeah.
Ever. It takes so much time
Yeah.
to do everything. Like we were talking about with the tree. Like you really gotta lay groundwork. I'm gonna
Say that example, bro.
all right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a great
I'm
example.
gonna put that out.
about
I've
the
heard-
roots. Yeah.
Absolutely. I heard Steve Harvey said, I heard a couple people say it, but you really think deep into it. If you're planting a tree or some type of plant,
Years ago.
the first thing you have to do is dig up dirt and put it under dirt. You're covered in dirt. It don't look good. Who wants to be put in dirt, mud, put water on it, make it look? Who wants to do that? Don't nobody really want to do that. But then people forget this part too. When you're planting that plant or whatever you're doing, it has to grow roots first. You cannot see the prosperity. You can't see the blessing of the actual plant because the roots are growing.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that's just like in the workforce where you got to actually work, grind for years to get to a certain place. It takes time to grow them roots in the foundation of that plant. But when it actually comes up and actually grows, oh, you see that, but you didn't see when the roots had to grow.
Yeah.
You didn't see when the plant had to have dirt thrown on it and it was ugly for a while. It was just a little patch of dirt and mud.
Yeah.
People don't want that phase. They ain't
don't.
trying to do that.
Nah.
But you need that in order to build those roots. Man, sometimes it take the roots years to grow before you see the actual thing happen.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in life.
I mean, like them
Sometimes,
California redwood trees, them shits is
The
huge.
redwoods.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but I bet the deeper the root, I bet it's harder to dig that plant
Yeah.
up. I bet you can't just cut that tree down. Why?
You gotta contact a specialist to take out stumps.
Absolutely.
Gotta dig that shit
ground it. It take a big joint effort to try to uproot something that's been rooted deep into the dirt
Yeah.
that took time to build. So it's
Exactly.
like if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna really want something solid, best believe it's gonna take some dirt, it's gonna take some mud, it's gonna take some time.
And
And it's gonna take not being seen.
Yeah.
Unlike
Bingo.
what we always doing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's the most important thing is when you are building those roots, you know, understand that if you're at your lowest and you're grinding and you're not seeing the fruits of your labor, understand that that's the most important part of your life.
sir.
Indeed.
Because ultimately that's going to mold you to the person who you are becoming.
Yeah.
Because, bro, there's been times, well, just looking back a couple years ago, where nothing was going my way. I was doing all the right stuff. I was reading, I was applying, I was hitting the phones, and nothing was going my way. But looking back, that was the most important part because that was when I started slowly molding the person who I am now and continuing to, you know, evolve to the next person. But man, that's a big part.
Man, it's really beautiful too because a lot of people, and I've been going through my struggles. I've had my time of going through stuff. He knows. But one thing I've learned that a lot of people don't really think about and understand is that when you're building and you're being rooted and something's growing, whatever it is you're doing in life, the number one thing that's being built that matters more than anything else is your mind.
Indeed.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing that can't be seen.
Indeed.
If you got the mind, the knowledge, the wisdom, the power to learn something and take time to really genuinely understand it, can't nobody take nothing from you. Because if you know how to do something and you know how to start from the bottom on something, so like how you said you were doing with the phones, you are gaining understanding.
Yeah.
Well, the next man that may be able to build the phone may not understand it the way you do.
Exactly.
So now you got even a bigger edge on him. Well, if I didn't go through that hard phase of not being seen or being in the ugly part of my fruits not being shown, I wouldn't have never understood, okay, this is how I build the phone. Okay, I
Yeah.
got to do this. If I didn't bump my head, I would have never understood, okay, I got to do this. If I don't do this, this is going to crumble. But if
Yeah.
you just had success, then what happens when something goes wrong? You ain't going to know what
You
to
just
do.
don't know.
That's so true.
You don't
I've
have
never,
you don't
right.
have an archive to go to and be like,
Indeed.
okay, this is what I do.
Man,
The biggest thing
yes.
is just learning from your mistakes, and it
Exactly.
happens consistently, you know. But looking at the chessboard, realizing where you messed up,
Exactly.
Yes.
so next time when you do play another game of chess, you know not to make that move again.
Indeed,
Composure
embrace
and
that. And you got to
awareness.
embrace that shit because it's even reverting back to your plant example. So I never get amazed when I see a rose that's grew in a perfect environment. The thing that I get amazed the most is when you walking outside on the street and you like, how the fuck that little weed get through that concrete?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like, how the
sir.
hell that
Yeah.
shit do that?
Yes.
It make you like look at it, or you see a flower come up out the concrete. You like, how did that even? But that's what it is. It's the aspect of you got to embrace that thing in your story because at the end of the day, we boys, we men, you know, we love telling things. Nobody ever wants to tell a story about how easy it came to them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the number one thing. I don't care how successful you are. That's the first thing you hear people talk about is the struggles that they went through, or where they come from.
Because struggles make men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man,
exactly.
Life is
It
about
really
testimony, bro. Like from even looking at the books y'all read, the things that we indulge in, you have to realize that all of it came from word of mouth of some type of testimony or experience. People only able to write a book for you to read through experience.
Yeah.
You can talk about what you think you know, but have you lived it? Have you seen somebody else live it? Have you had experience in that? But that's life all the way up to now. They wrote it down. They may have said it in the video, but they're talking about an experience and something that they've lived.
Yeah.
You have to go through something in order to get that. And then to maintain and sustain that, you had to go through it.
Indeed.
If you ain't go through it, bro, it's going to fall away quick. It's like the Bible say, building your house on rock or building on sand.
I'm saying, yeah.
If you build your house on rock, it's gonna stand. It got a firm foundation. It took some time.
Yeah.
For sure it took some time. But within that, it's gonna last when the storm comes. Somebody built their house on sand, something quick, something that's just easy accessible. Oh, now when the storm come, everybody nervous. Everybody in the house scared. They're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Our house gonna get washed away? Nah, but you actually took the time to build it on rock and build it the right way.
Yeah.
So it's gonna stand in the hardest times.
Yeah.
And I like how you quote the Bible a lot, bro, because I say this a
me
lot
too.
too. It's like, yeah, read other books and get knowledge, but the ultimate knowledge, the ultimate wisdom comes from the scriptures. You know, even the book, the Way of the Superior Man, or what's the Marcus Aurelius book, Meditation, Stoicism, and all that stuff. Ultimate stoicism comes from the scripture.
Yep.
They do.
Ultimate masculinity comes from Christ wasn't a feminine man. The way they paint them, like, oh, he was soft and tender. Like, no. He
He was
Christ-
direct.
Do y'all not remember what happened in the temple? You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
he threw stuff on the ground. He was
Yes.
tight.
He
You know what I'm
was
saying?
upset. He was upset.
I bring this up too when I have this conversation in this very deep conversation, because, for example, when he was in the garden and they came to arrest him, the Pharisees the Romans came to arrest him.
Yes.
Yep.
His will to survive wasn't as strong as Peter's because he knew he had to die. But what did Peter do? He took out a sword and chopped the soldier's ear off, right? Like, no, they're not finna kill us. I'm finna kill. Right? That's the instinct. That's the danger that we're capable of. But what did Christ tell Peter at the Last Supper when he said, man, I'll follow you to the grave. I'll follow you to prison. He said, you're going to deny me three times.
Three
boy.
times.
Yeah.
And he
And
did.
And he did.
And he did.
Why? Because he was afraid to die.
Yes.
Exactly.
The way Christ
Was not.
died. Christ
Exactly.
wasn't afraid. He was, but he gathered, strength from the Lord. But what did he tell Peter? He said, don't you think that I can call on my Father to send me 12 legions of angels? But then how will the prophecy be fulfilled? He knew he had to fulfill the prophecy. He had a
to go through
purpose
that.
on this earth
Exactly.
to die for us, right? Peter was ready to kill for Christ, but we wasn't ready to die for him. He wasn't ready to suffer for him, right? That's why he denied him 3 times, bro.
Sacrifice.
And then what did he do? He wept uncontrollably after the third time because he remembered when he said, before,
said it.
as soon as he denied him the third time, he even cursed at those people.
Yep.
Yeah.
He denied him once. I don't know this man. I don't know this man. I don't know this man. God damn you. And then the cock crowed, the rooster, and he cried.
Man, it's crazy that you just said that, because put that in even a deeper perspective of what we just was talking about earlier. You know how the head of the household is the man, which is like Christ is to church. Break it down even a little bit further and say, just like Jesus sacrificed, we as men have to sacrifice.
Self-sacrifice.
He paid the ultimate sacrifice,
Yeah.
right? But we're supposed to be like Jesus. We don't have to sacrifice our life and actually die unless it's a extravagant situation,
Yeah.
of course. But even in life, building something, starting from scratch, trying to build some type of purpose for yourself and for your family, bro, you got to sacrifice. You got to
Yeah.
go through something
Yeah.
in order to be able to
100%.
fulfill whatever needs to be done. But people overlook that. They're like, oh, be like Christ. Okay, be loving, be what? No. It's the ugly too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus really let it happen and said, no, he could have prevented all of that. He could
coulda.
have shut all that down. But he let it happen for a reason. He was
Yeah.
being the perfect example.
Yeah.
And the majority of it, people miss that he was composed. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I can't remember the scripture verbatim, but even when he knew he could have saved himself, he could have did something, he was still direct and said exactly what it is. You know, this is what it is. We're going to stand on truth.
Yeah.
I got to do this.
Yeah.
Point blank. Oh, you're going to deny me 3 times. He told that man to his face. He said, oh, well, You're gonna no. I'm telling you straight up.
Yeah,
like a man.
He was washing their feet, wasn't
Yeah,
he? He was washing their
absolutely.
feet.
Sacrificing,
And
willing to do the ugly work.
Man, and for Christ to wash their feet, bro.
Him.
That lets you know the humility, bro, behind it. It's like,
Yeah,
bro,
exactly.
I'm a man. I'm not bigger than you.
No.
But yeah, I love you. Look, I'm cleaning your feet. And they're probably like, yo, this man's, because come on, bro. Who likes feet?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't even want to see your own feet.
Right.
And that man was washing their feet. Let alone back then when he was wearing sandals and shit.
Yeah.
Walking on dirt.
All
They
day.
wash their feet, bro.
All day.
You see what I'm saying? And that goes to show you the power. And that's why that's why I say it's like, yo, bro, ultimate wisdom, ultimate stoicism, ultimate manhood and masculinity comes from the scriptures. That's what they teach us. There's a scripture too that says, every man be strong or something like that. A man needs to be strong. Like, and the strength is not just physical, it's mental. It's that ability to be self. Because sometimes you even sacrifice your happiness
By
to
far.
ensure the happiness of your children.
By far.
Because I mean, we're young. We can all say, shit. Tell me, I'd rather be with 100 women, but for me to sacrifice that happiness to be with one to ensure the upbringing of my children. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Straight strength.
Or don't you think I'd rather kick it with my boys, right? But sometimes I got to kick it with my son.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I have to kick it with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? It's that self-sacrifice. And I had some OGs on the panel a few months ago, and I asked this question, and now since we're all kind of around the same age, I'll ask us because I asked them because they were older. Do you guys think that the definition, like the core root of being a man, is the same, or it's up in the air?
People trying to change it. It's like,
Yeah.
Trying to change.
yeah, amongst common people, they don't even know. Like I said, they're going based off what they've seen, what they think they know. I mean, if you grow up in a house and you have your mom and your dad, or you don't have whatever, you can go to school, you can go to work, you can do whatever. At the end of the day, you still got to come home and look at the people that you love and trust the most and let them provide the example of what is. So then once you finally leave the house, you've been seeing that for what, 18 years? You see that every day. Then you got to go out into the world and figure out what's supposed to be what. Well, you're going to fall back on what you saw every day.
Yeah.
And in that moment, people are trying to come up with an idea or an opinion of what a man is supposed to be. But how do you know?
And nowadays, if you're born a man and you feel like you weren't supposed to be born a man, then now you're a woman. You know?
Facts.
Indeed.
So
You
it's
can't go
just
off
crazy.
them feelings. You
It's
go off
crazy.
them. You may feel like your stomach hurt for the day, but what happened when it don't hurt tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You can't. It's not about feelings. It's about truth and what's supposed to be. And as men, like you said, it's too much of an opinion. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what you think? But what you think?
Exactly.
Well,
But
you
the
don't-
core definition, in your guys' opinion, the core definition, because I'll also bring up what they said, but I want to hear y'all perspective first. There's the core definition of what it is to be a man, like unanimously around the world, globally. Do you think we can agree all as men, like, no, you know what? Everybody has their own style, but this is what a man is supposed to be.
by far.
You guys think,
I think that can be. I think that could be shown. It takes a lot. It takes people to understand. Number one, you got to sit back and gain some understanding on that. If you got your own opinion and you want to fight the battle of what you think, you'll never come to a common,
Yeah.
idea of what it's supposed to be. But there's definitely principles and groundwork that's been laid for people to see. Like, okay, this is how a man is supposed to be.
unanimously
Indeed.
around
By
the globe?
fairness,
Yeah.
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 And it's not by opinion. I love my parents. I do. But I don't believe, and I'm not gonna say that they're the perfect example of what it is supposed to be. No, you're human. You went through your share of stuff,
Yeah.
and I get that. But I still have to go out and figure out what a man is actually supposed to be. My dad did a great job, right? But there's been hiccups in his journey and things that he's been through that deters the thought process as well. He's a great man, you know what I'm saying? But it's still, me as a man, I had to go out and seek and find for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And once I kind of got an idea, I'm like, okay, now I got to sit back and keep watching. And for this society, we don't do that. We don't sit back and watch and gain understanding, perspective, thought process. We don't do that. So we're never going to be able to come to a common idea until we actually sit down and be like, hey, no, like, that's wrong. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Because then what gets involved? Feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the example that the OG said, shouts out to Mass.
Yeah, what did
Yeah.
say?
Shut-
He said, he was like, it's like a cake, like baking a cake. I'll give you the recipe, you the recipe, you the recipe. I'll have the recipe, and we'll bake the cake.
Right.
And we'll have the same ingredients, but it'll taste different.
Right.
You know,
Very true.
so we all have a different style. Ultimately, we built the cake. You know, we know cake needs eggs, cake needs flour, right? Cake needs milk,
Yeah.
cake needs baking powder. So all these ingredients are the same.
Indeed.
But you might like red velvet cake. You might like chocolate cake. I
Yeah.
might like fucking tres leche cake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You might pour a little bit extra milk. You might have 5 eggs that you start.
Exactly.
Your own twist.
But the cake is made. We know how it needs to look. You know what I'm saying? We know the ingredients.
Cake without those ingredients. It cannot be cake without those core ingredients.
Exactly.
You can throw in your splash, but
and I believe a lot of them are innate things that we are born with.
Yeah.
I mean, and regardless, any spectrum of a man, whether you're a feminine man, a masculine one, whether you're heterosexual, gay, about whatever, there's different things that we are born with. When you see a man in a room or just walking down the street and there's a woman in danger, it doesn't matter what his sexuality, anything is.
It's
it's an innate nature to protect that to the point to where it could be, it could be a woman he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
But it's just in him to where he might even risk his life to protect
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
King Kong.
And that's an innate
Kong.
thing. And that's what I mean. It's an innate thing to have certain things that we are just born with in regards to that. Now, there's different ways that you can go about it, or there's different links that you would do. That's what makes the cake taste differently. But there are things that we are born with that generalizes us and brings us together that we can meet and have a common ground on for sure.
Because I narrowed it down to a few things too, man. And you guys tell me what you guys disagree or agree with. But I narrowed it down to a few things. I narrowed it down to loyalty, honor, respect, self-sacrifice, brotherhood, right? Self-accountability. You know, I think that those are really important core ingredients to becoming a man. Understanding what loyalty is, understanding what honor is, what valor is, right? Not fearing, protect your loved ones, right? That self-sacrifice that we spoke about is like sacrificing sometimes even your own happiness to ensure the happiness of others. You know, the brotherhood that we spoke about yesterday at the dinner table, where it has nothing to do with friendship.
Right.
Although you do build a friendship with them brotherhood, but you know, it's not like family.
No.
You know, brotherhood is different. Like we can hold each other accountable. We can say, you know what, bro, I don't think you should do that.
Right.
And as a man who respects our brotherhood, we're like, you know what, my brother said that for a reason.
Facts.
You know, like that's a strong man. I respect that man. Why would he say that?
Yeah.
Let me reevaluate what I'm doing, you know, because if I didn't respect him, I wouldn't take what he said seriously. But since I respect him, let me exit out my emotions, because men have emotions too.
By far.
We feel too. You know, it's just the control and the master over our emotions that separates us from our our female counterparts.
Right.
It's like it's us being the master of our emotions. We don't allow our emotions. Well, we're not supposed to allow our emotions overrule our logic.
By far.
Because a lot of men do, you know, unfortunately.
Indeed. And one more factor that I'll even add to the list that you gave, and this is one that I really feel like has been a staple for men through the history of the world, but it's very jaded now because of just how easy it has become for, society and just all of us, is really the aspect of embracing struggle as a man. That's what brotherhood
Embracing
is.
struggle,
It's embracing struggle. We were meant to be here to build, to change, to alter, but that takes things like you say, having scars, and that's something that as a man you really have to embrace. Too many people today, when it's more so like your woman, it typically is not about embracing struggle.
No.
She's about embracing comfort, the nurturing aspect.
Her purity,
Exactly. Everybody brings up the aspect of if I'm fighting the world outside the house, it's her job to bring me peace and create peace in the house.
I mean, the Bible says your woman's supposed to be a pillar of rest.
Oh, 100%. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be able to lie my head on my woman's shoulder and feel comfortable, knowing, you know what?
And close my eyes.
I had to fight 100 wars out there, but when I come here, I have peace.
Exactly.
That's why when a woman says, "I need the right man to handle me,"
Men is not supposed
we
to
don't want to have to handle no woman.
handle.
I gotta handle business out there.
Indeed.
I gotta handle business with all these other guys. Why do I want to come and handle the one who's supposed to bring me peace?
Man, come on.
Supposed to make me feel comfortable. I'm supposed to lay back and not have to put on that shield that I have to put on, that barrier, right?
Exactly.
Transparency.
I can sit back and be like, baby, let me kick my feet up. My woman brings me my little coffee in the morning. Hey, baby, how was your day? Rubs your back, your leg, whatever. Another thing, too, this guy brought up, and I agree with it, too. The majority of men, right, really, when they're in the family, they just want to come home to a beautiful woman and their children running to hug them. Daddy's home,
Jump on
daddy's
their
home,
chest.
daddy's
That's
home.
it.
You know what I mean?
How simple that is? It's ridiculous. It's so simple, and it's crazy to hear that and put it into perspective. But it's like people can't really understand just how hard it is out here for a man
Yes.
to really build himself up. So when you can come home to that, it's a very, very different feeling.
Yeah.
It's like no other. It's like no other. It's like it's filling. It's inspiring. It makes you want to go back out there and go hard.
Yeah.
But too many men have been told to, obviously, go off of their feelings. And that's what I tell people today. Like, my feelings has no effect on how I live my everyday life.
Right.
It's based on, I have a goal, I have a mindset, and if I want my woman to be in comfort and to be that place of peace for me, I have to, when I'm outside of those walls, I have to build, and I have to go out here and conquer things in order to make it hard, because that's the only way that life progresses. And that you're able to, allow that her to nurture that home. It's a very, very different feeling. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Even with single mothers. Yeah, that's a very big thing. We talk a lot about this, and the third, but this thing about single mothers, because there's more of them now than there's probably ever been, right?
By far.
And I feel like one of the biggest things that's also gotten jaded in a lot of relationships is the idea of romance.
Yes.
Romance is something that's it's tainted society very, very much, because especially when you talk about people nowadays, where you have a lot of people who having children out of wedlock and whatnot. I'll give an example. My mother and my father, when they met, my daddy was a real smooth player, like smooth one. But he had a little bit of lack of discipline in regards to his his sexual desires, right? But when my dad went on his first date with my mom, the first thing, my mom had 3 kids, my dad had 5 already. I was the 9th, so when they got married, they had me. But on their first date, typically, a lot of men would say there's no glory in dating a woman with children, because obviously they're not your kids or whatnot, this and the third. My dad's viewpoint on it, the reason why he married a woman with kids was because he needed stability, he needed structure, because the way he was moving was so uncanny, it was so wild to the point that he was about to crash out. He was a country boy, and then we living in the hood or whatnot. It was a very, very tough trial for him. But what I would say is, for women that are looking for relationships, especially the single mothers, romance is a thing that's very, very tainted. On the first date, typically, if you want to give a woman a gift, what would you give her? Typically some flowers. Yeah. Maybe bring her some chocolates. Yeah. Right? That's a very easy thing. That's a romantic thing. That's
chivalry.
Chivalry. But that aspect was dependent, and it was always started upon purity. So romance is typically, when you think of romance, you think of someone who, it's just y'all two. You don't have any children. You don't have any. You think you're dreaming of something that's about that you can build with someone. But my father, seeing that circumstance, the first gift he gave my mother on the very first date, he gave her a country ham. My mother had 3 kids, because that was the aspect. But what he didn't give her any flowers. He didn't give her no sob story about how he just was so ooh la la. He brought to her what she needed, and she needed stability. She needed someone who was going to take care of the household, who was going to bring and be a male role model for my 3 sisters. So that aspect is something that's very, very important when you talk about relationships and the dynamic of it. It's not about doing things that are for make your heart feel so warm. You know what I mean? It was the aspect that my father understood, that my mother needed someone to be that rock for her. He needed someone that when she had a question, he had an answer. And because of that, she gave the uncanny loyalty that he really, really needed, and the respect. My mother never made my father look bad in my eyes. No matter what, he may have said, because what she would always tell you was, that man came to me when I had 3 kids, I was down and out. And, I was okay, but he made me whole. So it's the aspect of understanding that a relationship and the values of a man is not just how he can stimulate your emotions, but how he can stabilize your environment. And that's what he did for her. That was major. But that's what I tell women today. Don't always look at a man for the way that he's talking to you, the way he's running game on you. That's why, because it's so easy. Because, the players know when you can stimulate a woman's emotions, you can get her to do things for you, right? But it can be a very jaded thing, because you can seduce her into seeing something, but that's not really what they believe. And that's not really the truth. You know what I mean? But my father was someone who, he stood on business. And he saw the bigger picture when he came to my mom and he gave her that ham, and she understood, like, oh, okay. Like, no, he's coming here to be a staple. You know what I mean? And because of that, she never really demanded those aspects of the romantic thing, because it's going to be days like, woman, I'm raising kids that aren't mine. There's going to be times where, obviously, like how you said, it wasn't your biological father. It's tough on a man. He's not my biological child, but we button heads. You know what I mean? It's a very, very different thing for someone. So it's like it's like it's a role that takes on, you know, in today's world to where, you know, women have a lot of tough decisions to make. But what I would say is, what are you really looking for, and what are you really willing to sacrifice, especially with the aspect of cheating or whatnot? Because as a man has to be, you know, developed mentally in his mind to be able to go out here and fight for the world, a woman has to be emotionally developed. Because what you have to understand is, regardless of what you want to say, we could probably attest to this. I don't know a woman that's not going to deal with heartbreak at some time in her life.
Yeah.
That's not going to deal with whether it's infidelity, whether it's being left, or whether you just having a fallout with a man. You're going to deal with that. And that's how I would tell my daughter, you're going to deal with that. But what you have to make a decision on is that man worth it? That's what all the women do. Is he worth it? And that's what my mother did with my father. She knew, she was like, okay, regardless of what he do, is this the type of man who, you know, I can see him at his worst and I still want him and he's still mine. So that's like that's a very, very important thing. And a lot of people don't have the perspective to really understand that, because they think so short term and about themselves, and so in a narcissistic way, to where it's like, it's about my feelings instead of it's about let's be in whole, and about what a family really was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Bend never break.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Plus, marriage is, the Bible says marriage is sacred and the bed undefiled.
Indeed.
You know, we forgot how sacred marriage is.
Very.
You know, a lot of men are afraid to be chivalrous.
Yeah.
A lot of men are afraid to be romantic.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, a lot of women don't deserve chivalry because of, you know, the way that they live their life.
Right.
But it's up to you as a man, again, taking accountability. It's up to you as a man to be able to filter who and who doesn't deserve chivalry.
Exactly.
Or better yet, earned it.
Exactly.
So you really don't deserve anything. You earn things. You know, you don't get what you negotiate. You get what you earned, and you don't get what you deserve. You get what you earned and what you negotiated for, right? So that fear for chivalry, that's just lack of preparation on your part as a man. That's just lack of game, lack of experience. Because as an experienced man, you know what woman to be chivalrous for. Exactly. Of course, always be a gentleman. You know, because it says a lot about you as a man. Like, let me pull the chair out for her. Let me open the door for her. You know what I mean? Let me pay for the date. Walk on this side of the street. Like little things like that, right? All that shit is needed. You know? It's just, you got to understand who's going to take advantage of that, right? Because a lot of guys, they're simping, bro.
Yeah.
They're simping on women. They're flooding women with attention, and the woman isn't reciprocating any of that shit back. Right? And they just feed it and feed it and feed it, and she's gonna lose interest in you, man. You know, you're lowering yourself in her eyes at that point. You know, don't be an asshole to women. Always be a gentleman. You know, but there's a way that you move. There's a way that you conduct a game in this world when you're dealing with women, and that doesn't mean not being an asshole to women. No.
Correct.
Chivalry is important.
It is.
It says a lot about you as a man.
It really do.
You know?
It definitely does. It's how you conduct yourself. It definitely does.
Yeah, man. Player shit, man. That's real player shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Always.
Like, come on, man.
The way you love a woman.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's very, very
You know,
true.
and the way your woman loves you will determine a lot about who you are and how other men see you.
It really will.
You know?
It really, really will.
You invite your brothers to your house. If do you guys need anything?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yes.
That
way.
You know, and she got to be over there.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be here in the mix.
Yeah.
Unless of course they brought their wives, 100%. And even then they go mingle over there, and the men sit here and talk like a situation like this. Why do you think back? I don't know if you I'm sure you guys seen Titanic.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Cigar and whiskey.
Oh yeah.
You know, let's go. You know, I'm sure you don't want to stay here with the ladies. Let's go over there and have gentlemen talk, real men talk.
Yeah.
That's when we talk about politics. We talk about business. We talk about money. You know, the shit that really run the world.
Yes.
We have the time for the women and the children where we talk all the blah, blah, blah and the emotion shit. And then as men, we come and we have these kind of conversations.
Exactly.
Like, how are we going to move forward to ensure a positive path to society?
Yes.
Because ultimately we control society. But we've become so weak as a collective that now the powers that be control it. Because come on, man, the government is for us. We run the fucking government. Unfortunately, they've programmed us so well that we really think the presidents run this shit, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Why do you think they're trying to take away the right to bear arms?
Yeah.
Because it's freedom of speech, First Amendment, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, because you got to be able to back up the bullshit you say.
Exactly.
You know, and I don't know what the third, fourth, and fifth one is, but you know, First Amendment, freedom of press, right? So it's freedom of speech, right to bear arms, and freedom of press, which it all ties together. You know, you can say whatever the fuck you want, but you better stand behind that shit in case it's consequences. And best believe we gonna record it.
Indeed.
Best believe we gonna videotape your ass saying that shit. So you better stand by it. Thus, a man's word is everything.
It is.
Stand by your word.
Bingo.
A motherfucker will say some shit in front of his boys, then his woman come around and shit.
yeah.
I don't think that way. That's just them. That's just you know. I just said that. Come on, man. So you telling me you big macho man in front of your boys, and then your woman come around.
Yeah.
That's what Jose said too. Remember we were having a conversation. A lot of guys, they'll be like this big tough alpha male, and then they get into a relationship and become weak.
Exactly.
You know, the woman tell them what to do.
Exactly,
They
and that's her
can't
job.
come
She's
outside no
supposed
more.
to. She's supposed. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're exactly right, because they lose that battle so much. God, the woman is supposed to test you. She gonna test you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how player, how cool you is. She's gonna test you. But the fight is, can you stand on who you are as a man in your masculine role, in your leadership role,
Without folding.
But it's like what you said. What a lot of men typically do today is, because empathy has definitely been weaponized. They take a step back and they do more so the role of that's less confrontational. A lot of men do not like confrontation anymore. They can't even deal with it. They can't stand firm in their words. So it's a very, very real thing to where they'll take a step back, let it do the talk, like you said, like shrimp up, all those different things.
That exact
But
movement, they get like this.
It's sad. It's sad because that's why you have a lot of men dying on the inside, and you know it. They know it. They know they want to be like, man, shut up, like, fuck that shit. Like, can you go give me some food? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's very, very sad. I remember back last time I had a girlfriend. We'll be in a setting like this. Picture all of us got our girlfriends, right? And you know, men see shit like that. But my girlfriend, she comes over. She's like, "Oh, honey, you want some food? Like, I'm gonna make you a plate." And everybody else's girlfriend just like, but the men, you're like, man, God, but they'll be afraid to tell her though. You know what I mean? Because you know, obviously in that sense, but it's like it's more so the aspect of like, damn, like shit, like how does that dynamic happen? How did he get to that? You know, how does she respect him that way? You know what I mean? But it's a thing of where it's like
you respect yourself.
Oh yeah, you
enough
respect
not
yourself.
Enough not to compromise your principles.
Exactly, and it's a very, very beautiful thing, because then you really get to see like the true dynamic of what it means to be one.
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, you feeding yourself like your woman feeding you. It's like y'all together. It's a beautiful thing, because it's really seeing that collective. As to the other side, you see now it's a. There you go. It's the decision making. What is it? Oh, it's up to her. Oh no, we a team, baby.
It's like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, it's the yin and the yang.
Balance.
It's
they
the
come
yin and the
together
yang
to form one.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, and the crazy part is, a lot of people are like, oh, we're not equal, this and that. Like, no, we're different.
No, we're not.
But in the same way that it takes both of us to create that healthy balance.
Indeed.
In order, to run that family.
Indeed. At her weakest moment is when I have to be my strongest.
Yeah.
There you go.
And when I'm at my weakest, that's when she has to be her strongest. Typically, for a role like that, is when, let's say a man were to go out and be unfaithful. Let's say that we could call that, in a sense, maybe a weak moment for him. That's when a woman typically has to be her strongest. You love that man. That's your husband.
Yeah.
It's the father of your kids. You gotta dig that out. You gotta come back together. Y'all need to work that out. As to the aspect of on the other side, when she's at her weakest, when your woman is pregnant, when she's at her most vulnerable, you need to be out there. That's when you have to be your strongest. You need to be the man that's paving a road for her, that's building for her.
Because she's not the prettiest anymore, especially after the birth.
No, literally, especially after the birth. But that's what it is. Like it's the yin and yang. It's you are my strength when I am weak. And
she don't want to have sex anymore that much because it takes some months, bro.
It do.
Like after birth,
postpartum.
I think postpartum is anywhere between 8 and 16 weeks of like them getting, because they heal down there, right, physically. Right. But then they have like that, the mind
and stuff,
soul, bro. It's crazy,
Right.
It's tough. And that's when the man has to be his strongest. Like she's only feeling like that because of the baby.
Indeed, that's the most time. If you ever want to really know what it really feel like, and I haven't even had children, but I know from y'all experiences, when you see a woman that's pregnant, she's literally the most vulnerable, especially when you got that full stomach walking around. If she was just out in nature by herself, how could she fend for herself? How could she? It's nothing that gives you the direct dynamic right there of why you are needed as a man. Why those traits that people say are wrong, the need to be strong, the need to be stern about things, like no, we're doing this. This is what's important. This is how we moving. That's the reason why people need to see, like, that's why That's why you are needed in today's world. And those traits are as well, the ones that we talked about.
That's why it's important to get these young guys to understand, like, yo, bro, you need to be strong, man. Not only just physically, but mentally.
No,
like,
it's a requirement.
Mentally, spiritually, most
that's where it
importantly,
starts
man.
within.
And it's in you. It's literally in you.
Yeah.
It's in you. It's in your DNA. You
But
got
they're
it in
afraid,
you.
bro. They're afraid of the
they're
work.
Afraid. They are.
They're afraid of
They are.
rejection as well.
Exactly.
You know?
They don't want to lose.
No.
There you go.
People are afraid to lose.
That's why you got these young guys killing each other now,
Yeah,
man.
they don't want to lose.
They don't want to lose a fight.
Insecurity, the inner battle within. You said something that was really, really deep, and I want to touch on that. He said the strength and the weaknesses. As I told y'all, that a man and woman come together and they become one when they get married.
Yeah.
But in that, you got to understand that you're not perfect, and neither is she. But in that, you have strengths. God made you a specific way to have specific strengths and have an innate ability to do things that she cannot do, but vice versa. You may be the leader, but every leader needs loyal, good followers.
Yeah.
And that woman has gifts and has talents as a woman that can help you as a man, but you have to be willing to work with her and understand that with your weaknesses are her actual strengths. And it's not just in the bad times, it's in the greatest times too. Because us men, we can get on our high horse and think da-da-da-da, but it's up to her to help keep us humble and keep us to be the leader that has humility in all times, because we don't want to fall off track.
Yeah.
Or in the times where she's overly emotional, that's when you as a man have the most composure and say, you know what, let me calm her down. Let me talk to her the way she needs to be talked to.
Yeah.
Not the man, she tripping.
Yeah.
Well, you're not helping.
Yeah.
And not only are you not helping right now, you're not helping later, because she's not gonna forget that her emotions matter.
Yeah.
So like when you talk about strength and weaknesses, in order to have a successful situation, it's understanding. As a man, you gotta sit back and really watch and learn and understand your woman. If you do not understand your woman, if you don't even take the time to understand her when you're trying to pick her as a mate, you're going to get messed up when things hit the fan, because there's sides of her and there's parts of her that you missed, and you can't understand her strengths and weaknesses. So then it puts you in a bind, because you're like, dang, now we're just trying to cope and get by. Now I'm fighting this inner battle, she fighting the inner battle, and we just trying to make it. But if you would have took the time out to really understand her and find out if she's actually a good mate, not the, oh, let's go have sex all the time, let's go out to eat, but miss the thorough conversation. Oh, you ain't really asked her about her past. You don't really know about her upbringing. You don't know her traumas. You don't know nothing that she's dealt with. Well, how are you going to see her strength? How are you going to see her weaknesses? How's she going to help you and be that mate that you need in times where it's crucial? You would have known she was disrespectful or crazy if you would have took the time out to really get to know her early on.
Yeah.
And when you out there fighting the world, you got to come back in and have a peaceful environment. Well, you would have known if you took the time out to talk to her that that's not her strength of making it a peaceful environment, because she's used to surviving on her own. She's just too, you're doing what she's used to having to do. She's not used to being able to sit back and be a woman and make it a peaceful environment. But you would have known that if you take the time out as a man to say, I'm going to understand you. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to pay attention.
Empathic listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Instead of paying attention to everything else out in the world, you sit down and take the time out to really watch the people around you, and you will then learn. And that's why I say composure and understanding is so important, because if you don't sit back and understand, man, your whole life going to get thrown off.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Especially with your partner.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, man, you guys. So we're dropping heavy game right now. You said the live shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the phone must have died.
I feel like we can just be here all day.
Really.
Oh,
both-
shit, shut up.
yeah.
Oh, we just recording right now.
Yeah,
we still
so,
recording. Oh, yeah.
So we still recording on both cameras, but I think that one's about to run out
Let
of
me
memory.
check the memory.
But yeah, no, definitely good conversation. You guys take heed, man. Take heed and apply the things we're saying, man. I mean, this is what it is. You know, there was no filter here. Everybody is speaking their piece, man. And it's, as you see, man, we can agree on what the core foundation of a man is. Don't let people program you or influence you into thinking that a man is supposed to be this kind of way. No, the traditional way that a man is has worked for centuries. Yeah, it just turned off too. It just turned off. Let's go ahead and
This one's still on.
yeah, that one is still on. It's this one, and then this one is still on
Still
too.
got
The
mic.
phone, yeah. So we still got the mic, and we're still recording. So yeah, you know, the traditional way that a man is supposed to be has worked for centuries. And as far as us changing it, yo, like we're only hurting ourselves, man.
Yes.
We're gonna die 50 years from now.
Right.
You know, 60 years from now.
Indeed.
And our children and these other babies are going to take over. And if we continue to allow them to be programmed by this agenda, right, that a man is supposed to be feminine and men are supposed to be submissive and, you know, happy wife, happy life. No, it's happy me, happy we.
I like that.
Yo,
Happy me, happy we.
I'm the one who's out here fighting this war for us.
Yeah.
You know, we're the prize at the end of the day. But you have to be worthy of that title. You have to build yourself up as a man. You have to become, right, the greatest version of yourself, and continue to revisit that one step. I push this a lot, the fundamental formula, the rules and principles with which one will proceed to achieve anything and everything. I'm actually writing a book on this. It's 7 steps, very, very basic steps that I think every young man should follow, and every man already on their path should follow. It's foundation, form, system, structure, accountability, order, and focus, right? You got to build your foundation. You ask yourself 3 questions. Who am I? Who do I not want to be? Who do I want to become? You begin to form a plan, right? You begin to create a system for that plan. You structure that system. You hold yourself accountable to that structure, and then you remain focused, right? By maintaining order. And then you revisit those steps again and again and again. It could be a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, because we're going to continue to become, right? For example, on the book, The Way of the Superior Man, it says, when you were a child, when you were 8 years old, you thought you were this person that you saw in the mirror.
Right.
But you're not him.
Indeed.
You're not even the person you see in the mirror now. You got to look within yourself, the core you, because you don't even sound the same. You don't look the same. You're taller. You're bigger. You don't even think the same. You don't like the same things. But who are you within, right? You got to continue to see that. The same way when a woman falls in love with you, she fell in love with you. Then she fell in love with her husband. Now she fell in love with the father of her children. Now she fell in love with the grandfather of her grandkids, you know? So at first you got to be a great man, then a great husband, then a great father, then a great grandfather. Like, what are people going to say about us when we die?
Right.
You know? Are they going to say, yo, this was a man who taught? Did I learn something every day from this man? You know? And that's why I say I don't call myself a great dad. My children are going to tell me if I was a great father. You see how you said, yo, my father was a great father? You have to profess that.
100%.
He can't say, I'm a great father. Who going to talk bad about themselves?
Exactly. Right.
Same way if you come to me and you say, yo, you come to me, it's like, yo, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that, versus you come to me and you say, yo, no, this is my guy. Like, he's great. Like, he's this, he's that. And I already got respect for you, and you're telling me all these great things about him. I'm going to take that, like, yo, word, versus you just telling me you're great. Like, how do I know you? Who's going to talk bad about themselves? You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm going to say I'm a great father, but how do I really know? Right? Until my children say, no, my father did his best. He was a great father. And then not only that, then society will say whether you were a great father or not by how positive of a contribution your children do to society. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's important to continue to recreate yourself over and over and over again, because a woman will fall out of love. You know, you'll fall out of love, but after love is duties and responsibilities.
Yes,
after those 90 days of the wedding, it's like you get married, y'all fucking like crazy, but after 90 days you realize, hold on, this bitch fart, she fucking, her breath stank in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's duties. I married her. It's my duty to protect her. It's my duty to give her security. Same thing with your children, man. Sometimes my son asks me 1,000 questions a day. Sometimes I don't want to answer that motherfucker, bro. Yo, someone's like, God damn, this motherfucker, you talk too much. But it's my duty to answer his questions, you know, or push him in the direction to where he can answer his own questions, you know, teach him how to look for the answer.
Indeed.
Like that.
That is very, very true.
And I think that this conversation, bro, this had to happen, G.
By far.
Because the conversation we had last time was dope. But just the way we did it this time, bro, I think we got so much more out of this, bro.
Indeed.
You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Like, we're not even asking each other questions, bro.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, we just turn these mics on, turn these cameras on, and we just started going, bro.
It's the city, baby. I'm telling you. It's what that Vegas air do to you. I'm telling you.
Thorough.
Man.
Men sit down and have thorough conversation.
Hell yeah. And you know, we'll wrap it up when Izzy come back. You know, we're on a fast. I'm trying to get some steak in me. Man,
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Vegas, baby. We in Vegas.
But you know, off these topics, bro, something new was going on in the next 6 months, next year. What do you got planned, man? Anything you can share with us?
I can share some. I'm gonna share some. I mean, I got something I do want to share with y'all.
Okay.
Camera. I had showed him earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I had showed him earlier.
Dope.
But you know, just when you talk about that's when you talk about different things that you want to do as a man, like, you know, and like I say, always planning on recreating yourself, like you say, you know, different things. But I think for me, you know, I'm not even gonna say it. But you asked me, and I was just about to go ahead and get the flowing. But I'd rather tell you off camera.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go. I'm imagining that it's something dope.
I mean, yeah,
you just verify. You put the stamp on it. So
yeah.
So what about you, Isaiah? Anything new, man? You next 6 months, year, 2 years, something planned that you could share with us? Or?
Man, hopefully I can get completely healthy, get back on the field, get back to ball. But more than anything, bro, just honest to God truth. These past 2-3 years of my life, I've seen a lot. A lot has happened in my life. And I don't want to say bad because so much good came from it. The version of me y'all get is due to the things I've learned and went through in these past few years. I'd say the thing I'm trying to do most is make a difference. And by making a difference, by speaking what I know and what I've experienced and what I've learned, I often feel like people learn from other people's experiences. If you don't got to go through my struggle, perfect. But you can learn from me telling you. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I feel like through my experiences, I just want to bless and help people be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I got a certain amount of days on this earth, so keep using my experiences and things I've learned to go make a difference. I done went through it. Now it's time to go do it.
Definitely. I'll add to that because, you know, in the world that we live in this career path that we took on, it's a very, very jaded one. And when you're dealing with, like I say, the NFL is a brotherhood, and when you're dealing with a lot of young men who, many of them are from minority communities, many of them are black and brown, many of them come from fatherless homes. A lot of these guys they're lost, literally, you know, and it's just going off of air, and they learning by trial and error. And what I would tell you is this, and it's like what we talked about, people understanding what a real brother is. And I think for me, it's really honing in on that. As I get older, as I am a veteran in this league now, it's definitely about being that a type of role model, not someone that's perfect, but being that role model that my guys can really, really come to and really, really lean on. And I mean, for any situation, like I say, as a man, I feel like when someone who you supposed to be protecting has a question, you should have some type of answer, right? But that answer should be for the betterment of them and the group, right? Yeah. That's what we talk about.
Not with no hidden agenda,
right? But not just some dumb shit. You know, typically when you know your boys like, yeah, bro, I'm finna go get drunk, like. Or like, okay, yeah, bro, do your thing, little homie. I remember I used to do that. You know, that's typically you just trying to appease to their emotions. Like you may be so afraid, or you may be so they may reject you. But at the same time, what I would say is, young men need someone to hold them accountable.
Yeah,
we need that because we see what happens when it don't happen. It can be true chaos, very chaotic.
That's scriptural too, though. Us forgetting what a brother is. I can't remember the verse, but it says, "The once loving and tender man shall have an evil eye unto his brother." In the bosom of his wife and the remnant of his seed whom he shall leave. Because unfortunately, right, because of our transgressions against the Lord, he cursed us. And that's why,
very true.
You know, instead of being loving and tender to our brothers, we have an evil eye. We see somebody, first thing we do is like, yo, why he looking at me like that? We grilling motherfuckers up and down. Like, you can't look at somebody without it already being a problem. You know, an evil eye to our brother in the bosom of our woman, right? That's why we can't get along with our woman, right? And then the remnant of our seed whom we shall leave. That's why we have all these fatherless homes. You see what I'm saying? So it is all scripture, and it is all prophecy, and it is all happening. I mean, regardless of what people believe, but I believe in the Bible. I believe in the scriptures. You know, I read the King James Version. I listen to it every morning, and you know, I say this too. Like, I think my day goes better when I listen to it. Even if I have a bad day, it could have gone worse if I didn't. And I see, and I become witness of that, because sometimes I don't listen, I just miss it, or wake up late and I rush to the gym and it just don't feel right anymore.
Your days off.
Yeah, because I didn't hear the
spirit.
Yeah,
connecting.
You know? And all of that, bro. Yeah, we forgot what a brother is. We forgot what it is to want to help one another.
Right.
You know, but you have to help yourself too.
You do.
Yeah.
Another scripture I'll quote. I actually know the verse to this one. It's James James chapter 4 verse 8. It said, "Draw close to God, and God will draw close to you." Action first. Draw close. You got to do something first.
You got to go something
and
first.
then He'll draw close to you.
You have to pursue that relationship with God.
Exactly.
It's
So
not
you
just
have
gonna
to,
happen.
you have to put in the work first, and that's with everything. If you want something to happen, you got to make it happen first. You know. But yo, you guys, man, I appreciate y'all, man. For real, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give a round of applause because boy,
I love that. I love the buttons. Man.
Yeah, the buttons is dope. We ain't even do my man.
Soft ass shit. Shut that soft ass shit up.
There was we ain't speak no soft. You know what I'm saying? Everything was straight real jewels, y'all. So everybody you guys peep this shit, man. Like this shit is real. Like you got young men, man, young gentlemen who conduct themselves differently from the norm, right? We're not on no corner. We're not on no hood corner pretending like we know. We're actually taking these steps. We're actually taking action for the betterment of not only ourselves, but those who are watching. Because it's not always just your children or your little brother or your little cousin who looks up to you or who thinks you're cool. It might be the little boy up the street, man. It might be a young boy you just passed and he looks at you and he's just like, wow, like I've never seen a man like that because he's not used to it. And another guy, a rapper that I know personally, a De Niro, he said this. He's like, you ask any little boy what a man is, he doesn't know. It's his idea of what he thinks it is. Right. And that's our fault collectively because we still want to be kids, man. We're being babied by our mothers because our fathers before us, they didn't know how to be men, and it continues. And it's time to break that cycle and be different, you know? But yeah, today we dropped a lot of jewels, man. We're going to continue to power up. You guys like the fucking video. Subscribe to the channel. As always.
Hold on, real quick. Yeah, bro, I just want to appreciate I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day because I know you guys have a lot going on, to sit here and have a conversation with us, And yesterday, the hospitality that you guys showed us, we appreciate it.
Definitely.
Of course.
Definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, man.
And I'll say this too, man. I really do appreciate you guys because obviously, right? It takes courage. It takes want to, and it takes that inner drive, and I see that in both of y'all for what y'all do, because that's real brotherhood. Seeing two guys come together, and now they take the best characteristics of themselves, and they really created something that's only been up, and not really men can really attest to a lot of those things because they're afraid of it. They're very, very much afraid of it, and I think that seeing that is a very true testament. And I would say y'all stay on this. Don't ever stop killing it.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
For sure.
And you know what? I think I'm going to start a new segment from now on the Hector Jesus show, bro. Let's peep the swags real quick because everybody flashy right now. Before we leave, let's break down the swag. We'll start with you, Cleveland. Break down the swag. I see you got the chocolate mocha brown on suit, man, with the white shirt. Let's break it down real quick. Break them down. What you rocking with, man?
I mean, I'm pretty chill.
Dapper down.
Yeah. I came in.
Three buttons down, Miami style. Come on, man.
I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit more so on the expensive side today. So I got the suit is Armani today.
Okay.
Yeah,
he do that.
I got my loafers on.
Okay.
I'm a big time watcher.
Show the loafer. Brown leather loafer.
I keep the brown leather loafer.
Yeah. No socks. You got
Chris
style. Quick little style of it. No fucking socks with loafers, you guys. Stop doing that shit, man.
Your woman likes to look at your ankles, brother.
You know?
She thinks it's sexy. I'm telling you.
And lotion them up, motherfuckers. You get the ashy ankles. Lotion them up, man. Y'all lotion them.
Fire.
Yeah. Nice fitted tailor suit, white shirt, nice and clean.
I keep it very clean.
Yeah.
I like
break it down, Isaiah.
Man,
You a turtleneck.
He came in with the blazer and the turtleneck on. It may be hot outside, but we always cool on the inside.
Oh yeah.
And I keep it player. They got to see the face. You know what I'm saying? This just leads up to the main attraction. I wore this out of comfort. I knew we were going to be sitting here talking. We're going to get deep, so I had to be transparent, wear some, something cool. But then I had to splash them a little bit with the pants. Like, I'm from Texas. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to bring it up too. Yeah, got to do the plaid.
You got to. You know what I'm saying? Bring a little attraction to it. Like, ooh, that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? I rock an all black every now and then, but I like to spice it up a little bit. And then I rock with the McQueens, baby.
Yeah, McQueen's nigga. Yeah, had to keep it a little casual.
Every time. Stay comfortable, stay clean, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes,
absolutely.
sir. And you know me, man. Y'all know me. I don't even got to talk too much, baby. You know, navy blue. The brown monk strap, double monk strap. Come on, y'all.
Monk strap. Both of y'all got them on. I'm loving it.
Got a monk strap leather.
I'm loving it.
Come on, y'all.
I've been becoming a fan of this pocket square. I've been doing it a little bit more. It kind of like completes the fit.
Right.
No, that red. It does. The red pops perfect.
The same as the shoes. Something very subtle.
Yeah.
But
it looks really good.
And y'all see Izzy got the braids too, y'all.
Braids.
He usually has.
That's clear.
I like it. Yeah. Everybody do got their hairstyle going. We got all different Jones. I got I got my I Am Legend, the logo.
I Am Legend.
We got the beard coming in, so it's really popping now. We got different.
You know, I gotta keep the fade. This is the fade. Signature for Hector fade.
Yeah.
Well, my Dominicans, man, I gotta go to my Dominicans, man. My barber Ricky, man, I've been getting my hair cut with him for like 6-7 years. He cut my son, yeah, for real. I don't go nowhere else, bro. I usually when I touch down in the state, I just look up on Google Dominican barber and I just go. But I was like, nah, man, Vegas is gonna be a little different. I don't know if I'm gonna have, you know what I mean? I was like, let me get my hair cut before I go. But when I go to Miami though, I touch down, hey, Dominican barber, where you at? ATL, Dominican barber, where you at? Straight up. You know, but I appreciate you guys, man, for coming for real, man. Great conversation. I appreciate the viewers, man. You know, as always, I am your brother in fashion, fitness, finance, and family, El Señor Romero Miliano, Pablo Hector Jesus. You know I got to shout out the gang. That's on my greatly ambitious, intellectually noteworthy gentleman that's aggressively neutralizing the game 365 days of the year. Cleveland, I appreciate you. Isaiah, I appreciate you. You know I got Izzy with me. Peace.
Out of here.
All right. Good show.
Oh, I forgot to bring up.
Man.
We were supposed to bring up the chess game. I was supposed to tell her how I beat you. I was supposed to tell her how I beat you in chess.
He want
I forgot.
that. He ain't want that.
Shit, bro. I looked down. I'm like, I'm supposed to tell everybody I beat this man in chess. That's my only name.